All right, thanks, Brad. Delta State, the Statesmen, get their first possession of this Division II National Championship game. Rich Waltz, Todd Christensen, Holly Rowe. Bloomsburg took the opening kickoff, and boy, did they look good offensively. Eric Miller to Mike Lelko.
And Lelko is the star receiver of their team. Now with this, his 8th touchdown pass in the playoffs sets a record. Formerly by Steve Kreider, who later played with the Cincinnati Bengals. You see that young stud right there. He's the reason why Bloomsburg's up 7-zip. 9 plays, 66 yards, a scant 248. And here's a look at Delta State on the pitch. Tanny Flowers with the carry. And Flowers is across midfield into Bloomsburg territory, down to the 42-yard line. Luke Murray made the stop on an 18-yard pickup. These two offenses are very, very different. The Statesmen run what they call the triple shoot, and they do not use a huddle. Well, one of the things that's interesting about that, you're right. Usually when you have the no huddle, that's when you spread them out and go all over the field. But they also have an interesting man here in their quarterback. 6'5", 235-pound Josh Bright. Usually the guy who's running the option is just another running back, a 5'11", 180 type. Instead, they've got a bruiser.
And this is Bright. He's a tough man to bring down. He's down to the 31-yard line. Aaron Bordas made the stop. First down, Delta State.
That's what we were talking about when we said that he was a bruiser. Fakes to the back and follows him in the hole.
He's completing 48% of his passes. He's running for 94 yards a game. They did not think when they changed to the option, this triple shoot option offense, they didn't think he would be their guy.
And I mentioned the reason I circled that 217, as you mentioned that, Rich, is the fact that he is closer to about 235. He has bulked up a little bit on their weight program there in Cleveland, Mississippi.
Bright's in trouble, and he's caught, tripped up by Brian Sims, the senior out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
Well, Sims, the co-captain, 8 tackles for loss and 4 sacks coming into the game. He is the one that generates that push, and really this is a surprising call, as effective as they had been running the ball. But Sims, that shows the strength of his right arm, because I would have figured that the big quarterback would have been a little tougher to bring down.
Delta State doesn't throw a whole lot. They don't give up a whole lot of sacks. That's only the 16th sack of the season. This is game number 15 for both of these teams. Division II National Championship. It's a 16-team playoff. And what a ride it's been for both of these teams. And there goes Bright. He's to the 10. Josh Bright will score. Touchdown, Delta State. 35 yards.
Well, we talked about his ability to run with the ball, and you made reference to that earlier, Rick. They weren't sure that this was the guy they wanted to be their quarterback because he wasn't such an effective thrower. Well, guess what? He's a pretty effective runner. Watch the free safety vacate as he cuts up to the middle of the field. Everybody's anticipating going to the side. But once he gets ahead of steam, that 235-pounder is tough to bring down. They answer back after Bloomsburg's initial touchdown.
Billy Dorgan missed the extra point. Josh Bright with a 35-yard touchdown run. We've played barely 5 minutes of football here in Florence, Alabama, and already it's 7-6 Bloomsburg.
NHL Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday on ESPN2.
Hey, all these bags are missing their heat wave cores. What's that? Andy, we can't deliver hot pizzas without these cores.
The exclusive core in the Domino's Heatwave bag delivers your pizza hot. Call Domino's now to get freshly made pizza delivered hot to your door. Domino's, bad Andy, good pizza.
Yeah! Who's the man?
What's tonight?
Dinner at Spago, boss.
Excellent. Shouldn't you be making toys?
We're digital now. We get the toys done in half the time.
Oh. Yeah? Oh, Kiki, can you fit me in for a foot massage?
I want to tell you about a brand new way.
Brand new way of quitting smoking.
It's unique. It's effective. It's orange.
New Nicorette Orange.
It's Nicorette.
So I still help prevent cravings on my own regular schedule.
I still help answer cravings with another piece.
And now I have orange.
Brand new orange flavor, only from Nicorette.
Here, taste this.
Now, this just may be a flavor I can quit with.
Sometimes victory's so close.
You can taste it.
You can do it. New Nicorette Orange can help.
Some of the best football you'll see in this postseason will be right here in these championship games. Division II, Bloomsburg, a 7-6 lead over Delta State. Billy Dorgan, who missed the extra point. It's an onside kick, and Delta State
They've got it.
Has it.
They've got it. And I didn't see a flag here. It appeared that it was Archie McDonald that recovers it just beyond the 45. And this is very interesting because Bloomsburg, the coaches were the ones that were talking about being daring in the kicking game. Right away, Delta State takes a big chance, a huge play.
3 times this year, it's been Bloomsburg who's recovered onside kicks, but Dorgan with a nice little kick. And there's McDonald who comes in to recover it. Archie McDonald, the senior out of Jackson, Mississippi. And Steve Campbell, the head coach of Delta State, rolling the dice a bit. And the Statesmen, after an impressive drive that went 62 yards on just 5 plays, have it right back at their own 45-yard line. Josh Bright is going to throw and going to go deep, looking for Franklin, and he can't make the catch. At the 13-yard line, it's incomplete. Rudy Garcia on the coverage. Starting lineups, we told you about Josh Bright and the triple threat he is. He can run it, does the option, and throws it well, and he's got a lot of weapons, Todd.
He does, and that's the one that he was looking for right there was Jason Franklin, number 1, averaging over 26 yards per catch, the converted quarterback.
Delta State's offense averaging 466 yards per game, and they're a very difficult offense to prepare for. Bright, the quarterback, is hit, and he is dropped at the 47-yard line. Matt Keys made the stop.
There's a flag down. I think there was a face mask. Now the debate here was whether or not that's going to be a 5 or 15-yarder. Takes a lot of bodies to bring down that quarterback. And I think that somebody came in with an inadvertent one. Saw Josh Bright patting the official on the back. Good call. You're right. That's what happened to me. Good job. Way to be on top of it. Protect your quarterback. Of course, a little more difficult to protect a college quarterback when he's running like this guy is. Huh?
Well, you didn't need that much protection at 235.
5-yard face mask penalty on the defense. Second down.
Todd Gearlings, our referee. The offensive line from Delta State, very good, very talented. Randy Grierson, the senior, is the leader, and he's the center.
From Pascagoula, Mississippi. I'm sorry, I just wanted to say that. You got a chance to see Brian Sims on that last series. He is the leader up front. He's the one that's going to have to raise his level of play here and stop his quarterback running between the tackles.
Not a first down, second down. And this is Rico McDonald. And Rico is tackled at the 45-yard line. Rudy Garcia made the stop. It's a 4-3 defense. And against this triple option, these linebackers have got to have big days. Roscos, Dyer, and Keys are the leading tacklers for this Bloomsburg Husky defense.
All with over 100 tackles, pretty impressive. And someone else is going to have to step up big as their strong safety, Toye Berry. You mentioned the fact that Delta State has 8 in the box. Bloomsburg is going to have to do the same thing.
And the danger against Delta is when you sell out to stop the option, that they go up and they go up big. They've hit some long touchdown passes.
3rd and short. What are the chances of the quarterback sneak?
Well, option left will work as well, and I think Bright is close to the first down.
Well, that's what I meant. Quarterback keep. I should have just said quarterback keep, and I'd have been right.
Todd, what are the difficulties in preparing for an offense like this? And you add in the fact that it's a no-huddle look as well.
Well, when you go against, everybody talks about the difficulty in covering the field when you go against a spread offense. But when you go against an option offense, it requires your defense to be extremely strict. Because what happens if one guy is out of position, not unlike the last time when Bright went right up the middle for the touchdown. Your free safety's a little bit out of position. Your strong safety's out. They get the pitch or the keeper, and they're gone. Your defense cannot get out of their lanes against an option.
Bloomsburg has seen 2 option teams this year, but this option is a little bit different than those. Bright And he's one of the reasons why. Scrambling and throwing, and it's incomplete. Greg Roscos was in pursuit, and he dragged Bright down from behind.
You know, we got to give Bloomsburg credit here. They've gone with the play action a couple of times, and it's been ineffective. Bright has not been able to deliver the ball on the money, and great pass rush on the part of Bloomsburg. You can see Roscos just can't quite pull down the 235-pounder before he's able to throw the ball away.
You and I in the Big Ten saw what teams had to deal with Northwestern's no-huddle look. I think Bloomsburg is very wary of this as well. It's very tough to substitute situationally and get the personnel you want on and off the field from a defensive standpoint. And the offense doesn't huddle. First man through is Rico McDonald, and he's inside the 30. He's got a first down. 13 yards on the carry.
This is the very thing. This is what happens. And that is they go to the outside a couple of times with the option, and then the straight fullback dive. Everybody's just a little bit on their heels. And the result is McDonald's able to plow through. He has been their go-to guy, 108 yards per game, averaging 6 yards a carry.
On first down, Delta State on the move. Long count, McDonald again. And the junior out of Ripley, Mississippi, carries it down to the 21-yard line.
You know, you talked about the difficulty that the Bloomsburg defense is going to have. But one of the advantages they do have is that even though they go with that no-huddle situation, they don't substitute much. You know, they are basically in the same formation, so it's not a matter of matchups. What it is here is that the front seven really has to get together. You made a very cogent point early on. The linebackers are going to have to fill the gaps and support because up to this point, they've been ineffective. But again, this is their first time seeing it here in these first two series. I'm sure they can make some adjustments.
Sort of a reverse handoff, a counter, and DeForest Hart is inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line.
The old
Trent Flick made the stop.
I was about to say, Rich, in the old days, they referred to that as the cross buck. You have the backs going one direction, and he comes back against the grain, and if that one tackle is broken, he goes the distance.
You can see Delta State in their first drive went 62 yards, an onside kick, and on the ground, they're close to 100 now. Long count from Bright, and it's Gary Smith who gets his first carry, and he's down to the 7-yard line. Flick again made the stop. Cleveland, Mississippi is the home for Delta State. They're out of the Gulf South Conference, and Bloomsburg is in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, about an hour and a half east of State College at Penn State.
You saw Gary Smith wag his head as he went to the sidelines. He was frustrated because he knew he wasn't going to get much opportunity with Rico McDonald. He wanted to make the most of that one run.
McDonald right back in the ball game. Second down and 3. And McDonald straight ahead, and this time Bloomsburg stops him short at the 7-yard line. Brian Sims made the stop.
Now, one of the things that has to be thought of here by Mark Hudspeth, offensive coordinator of Delta State, is because of the problems that their kicker has had. We didn't document that earlier. Dorgan with his 9th missed extra point, so he's hardly automatic here inside the 10-yard line. He could be thinking 4-down territory right now. That's the young man between the post.
Not a hockey term. From the 7, 3rd down and 3. It's a big down for the Bloomsburg defense. In motion is Flowers, and it's Bright who will keep it, and he's in the end zone for the 2nd time already. Josh Bright carries it in, and Delta State is running this triple shoot offense to perfection.
And Chris Booker, the left guard, is just doing an outstanding job. Watch number 70 as he penetrates, just buries his man, and then followed by a block by Hale downfield. Boy, that's just a great job of the front for Delta State, creating the gap for Bright to get his 2nd touchdown.
All right, missed extra point. You go for 2 this early in the game?
Well, as well as you're running the ball, I think so. And here's another reason why. The game is, I don't think the game is going to be decided by 1 or 2 points. And so I like this call early on. Normally I don't, but they're doing so well. Why not? You got momentum on your side.
Bright's going to put it up. He's in trouble. And he's got his man. The 2-point conversion is good. James Grubbs with the catch. Steve Campbell, Statesmen, are on top. 14-7 in the Division II National Championship.
Is it their impeccable timing that counts?
Their know-how? How far they go?
Or just the freedom to relax? Yes, exactly. Lufthansa, there's no better way to fly.
Bill Jackie getting taken to the hole. What's the sister gotta do to step it up on D? Better call in the dog. If your crossover's gone away and that outside J is MIA.
Hot dog.
Woofity woof. New shoes, new shirts, and a lot of soul. Gonna help you take it to the hole, baby.
Hot dog.
Bogdog.com. Ho, 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 from the athlete's toy store. Bog Dog. That dog is stone cold.
It's special holiday shopping days at Pep Boys. Get $15 or $30 in merchandise certificates free with purchase. 3 days only, December 13th, 14th, and 15th. 627 locations nationwide. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love.
This exclusive presentation of the NCAA Division II Championship is brought to you by Nicorette Gum. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Florence, Alabama on an absolutely glorious day in the south. 55 degrees. The weather conditions in the fields are perfect. And Delta State takes 11 plays this time. And in 54 yards, they've got another Josh Bright touchdown. And this time they kick it deep. Bryant Stone, who's taken one back for a touchdown this year, is out to the 26-yard line. Rich Waltz, Todd Christensen, and now we check in with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Guys, the quarterback for Delta State, Josh Bright, is a big kid. He's 6'5". And what Bloomsburg coach Danny Hale noticed about him when he met him and shook his hand at a banquet is that he's got tremendously huge hands. It's a problem right now for Bloomsburg's defense because when he has the keeper, they can barely see the ball in his hands. So they need to do a better job of identifying whether he's got the ball or he's given it away on that triple shoot option.
I'll tell you what, Delta State does not give it away on that option. They rarely turn the ball over, which is, for an option team, that's something. On first down now, Bloomsburg gets their second possession of the game. And Marcus Blaze is across the 30, out to the 31-yard line. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
Rich, the 1AA semis in Missoula. Oh, we've got a little snow on the ground. Appalachian State taking on Montana. Grizzly quarterback Drew Miller looking for T.J. Okus. It's down to about the 10-yard line. It's set up a Chris Snyder field goal, and the Grizzlies on top, 3-0.
I've been in Washington Grizzly Stadium in the snow before. That is a fun place in Missoula.
It'd be cold, though.
Yeah, that's right. Eric Miller and the Huskies of Bloomsburg went 66 yards on their first possession, and his throw is incomplete. Terrell Johnson with a diving try at midfield.
Shows the confidence that they have in Miller. After getting a 5 or 6 yard gain on first down, you'd think, hey, you know, let's stay on the ground, punch something out. Instead, he tries to get the ball up to Johnson.
He's listed at 5'11", 167. And I think most of the coaches agreed he's more like 150. He is not a big quarterback, but he's very, very talented.
But you know, it's a buff 150.
One of his strengths, Todd, is throwing the football on the run, and he showed that in the first drive of this ball game. Pressure coming. He's hit and gets it off. Johnson makes the catch. Terrell Johnson is down at the 25-yard line. And so is Eric Miller, the Huskies quarterback, who took a vicious hit as he delivered a 44-yard pickup for Bloomsburg.
Jared Beckett and Jamal Johnson are the blitzers, and boy, does he get whacked. Take a look at this. Bam! Gets hit right between the 1 and the 0. But give Johnson credit. You see the matching 19s. Belton now 3 straight times has been victimized. Although Lelko gets a lot of the attention, the lion's share of the attention, rather, Johnson has had a pretty good season himself. Now, well over 1,000 yards. Last week, 8 catches for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns against UC Davis.
14-7, Delta State on top. It's been a wild first quarter so far. Eric Miller off to Marcus Glaze. And Glaze is dropped at the 24-yard line. Eric Miller is a senior. They say all he does is win. He completes 59% of his passes, 36 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He has a lot of weapons as well.
He does. We just mentioned Terrell Johnson as well as Mike Lelko. You mentioned Miller, terrific here in the first quarter, 5 for 6 and 85 yards and 1 touchdown.
There's a look at Johnson, who just made that big catch. Miller was 4 of 4 on the opening drive. There's Miller on the run. Lelko got it! He's out at the 1. Mike Lelko, who caught the touchdown pass, a 22-yard pickup. And there's Miller on the move, putting it on the money.
And once again, moving to his left, showing terrific ability. You see the coach beefing. I thought this was a touchdown. Watch the catch now. Does he step on the pylon? He sure does. Kicks the pylon. That should have been a touchdown. Instead, it'll be out at the 1, and I'm guessing they're not going to have much problem getting it in the end zone. Nonetheless, Lelko and Johnson really starring here. This is, oh man, this is fun.
I don't think anybody will have trouble getting into the end zone today. Marcus Glaze, though, is stopped. Glaze was hit by Rory Bell.
That's what happens when we speak too soon, doesn't it?
Yeah. Rory Bell is a guy you've got to block because he'll make a lot of tackles today.
Well, now this is interesting. This reminds me a little bit of a tennis match. It's like holding serve. You know, do you have the ability to hold your serve? Who's going to break?
Defensive coordinator Dwayne Matthews. Of course, Delta State got an extra serve with the onside kick
right
after they scored.
They did.
Here's Miller. Lots of time to the corner. Lelko got it. Touchdown. It's his second of the day.
What a terrific relationship Miller and Lelko have. Usually on second down at about the 2.5-yard line. That's another opportunity to go over the top, have a guy jump, go off tackle. Instead, he rolls out. He knows he's got a great relationship with the guy who runs the corner, comes back to the ball, and delivers it right on the money. This is so much fun because we have such diverse offenses. On the one hand, they're throwing it all over the place. The other people run between the tackles. And we're going to have it 14-14 with 2:16 in the first quarter. Man, this is fun.
It has all the earmarks of last year's Division II championship, a game that went 4 overtimes. 14-14, and we're not yet out of the first quarter.
A camp for local kids with special needs wanted help. We were there.
A customer lost her sight. We helped teach her to recognize coins by touch.
We welcome new Bloomsburg University students. We visit customers at nursing homes. We are the employees of First Columbia Bank.
My customers are my friends. It's that simple.
First Columbia's customer service is downright neighborly.
Plaques, trophies, awards, they're all symbols of great achievement. Before the presentation is made, go to the pros who know trophies. Wagner's Trophies.
Wagner's Trophies has something for the sports lover on your Christmas list. Choose from t-shirts and sweatshirts with team logos, from the NFL to your favorite college teams. We even have Henry the Snowman for both Penn State and Notre Dame, as well as comfy throws to keep you warm. For your next party, stock up on our NFL cups, plates, and utensils.
Wagner's Trophies, East Main Street, Bloomsburg, where excellence begins.
Sunday at 11 a.m. on NFL Countdown, what is wrong with the Rams offense? Last week, the defending champs just 3 points with Kurt Warner. Can they turn it around in time to make their playoff run? Terrell Davis, Olandis Gary, Mike Anderson, plug in a runner in the Broncos backfield, you get a 1,000-yard season. The secret? The big guys up front. And what does Dolphins quarterback Jay Fiedler have in common with the Heat's Anthony Mason? Join Chris Berman and the gang Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern for NFL Countdown.
National championship game of Division II. Todd, you made the comparison. If you like Wayne Corbett, you'll love this little Mike Lelko of Bloomsburg. Lelko has 2 touchdown catches today, 21 on the season. He is 5'10", 186, and he may be the strongest wide receiver in America. He is a strong individual.
Well, and the debate was when I asked the coaches, I said, does he have a shot at the next level? Their concern was that his 40 time was around 4'8", 4'8", but they said once he gets on the field, he's football fast.
And he's football strong. He benches 360. Mario Perifoy on the return for Delta State. All right, we told you about last year's game. Northwest Missouri State and Carson Newman. This 34-yard touchdown catch from J.R. Hill sent the game into overtime. And boy, what overtimes there were. 4 of them. The Bearcats went ahead here, and then Carson Newman coughed it up. Northwest Missouri State recovered the ball. That ended the 4th overtime and gave Northwest Missouri State their 2nd consecutive national championship. And that one went late into the night here in Florence, Alabama.
Well, not that you can necessarily project the numbers, but based on
early exit polls.
Yeah, we're looking at about 56, 56, right?
All right. Jeff Smith is in at quarterback right now, and he hits Jody Jennings.
Well, Jeff Smith, number 12, is the better thrower of the two. And, of course, when your starting quarterback has rushed 6 times for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns, I don't necessarily know why you replace him.
Well, Delta State told us yesterday that normally they will rotate Smith in after every couple of series if it's a good day, if the field is dry and it's not raining, because they feel that if it's wet and sloppy, they'll stick with the option.
And that's certainly what they have right here, ideal conditions.
And you can see that their offense has changed dramatically in terms of the formation. Rico McDonald goes straight ahead to the 46. They call it the triple shoot. They run the triple option, but they've also got some 3 and 4 wide receiver packages in, and that's what they're looking at right now.
You know, Shakespeare said something about a rose by any other name, right? The thing that's interesting, though, here with regards to Smith coming in is that in spreading the offense a little bit, the defense for Bloomsburg has to be a little bit confused. What are we looking at? Now what do we do?
Second down 5. And Smith gives to Rico McDonald, and down goes McDonald at the 44-yard line. And you know, if you're Paul Dara, the defensive coordinator of Bloomsburg, this might be a breath of fresh air here.
Really might, and frankly, I'm surprised at this. I realize the situation. See Belinsky fighting off the block, extends himself, does a great job, because now this is the first 3rd and long that Delta State has faced here in the first quarter.
Delta State has converted 2 short 3rd down opportunities. Look at the total yardage, and we've got 33 seconds with the clock running down on a very entertaining first quarter. Shotgun for Smith. Little inside screen to Franklin, and the big play man has got it. Franklin is inside the 40, and he's down to the 35-yard line.
One of the first things that the offensive coordinator for Delta State, Mark Hudspeth, said to me is he said, this is a young man who actually has a chance at the next level. And I said, well, that's surprising. I realized that I realize that he's a guy that has some skills, but take a look. He comes back here on the screen, gets a nice block. Now at 6 feet and 200 pounds, that's actually a very large wide receiver, particularly at this level, Rich. He breaks the tackle, gets the ball upfield, does a nice job.
It's further surprising, Todd, because he came here as a quarterback, and they moved him to the wide receiver when Bright really developed to the quarterback position. This is Jeff Smith on his first series at the helm, and he's got about a 10-yard pickup, very close to a first down. All right, everyone, deep breath. This has been a wild first quarter of the Division II National Championship game. Delta State 14, Bloomsburg 14. Back to Florence after this.
ESPN, the magazine.
Well, thank you for calling.
Dan, can I put you on hold? Dan Patrick wants a free Polo Fleece pullover.
He writes a column for the magazine. Yeah. But he's not a new subscriber.
Sorry, Dan. No can do on the fleece. It's only for new subscribers. You mean you're You're actually calling to subscribe? Okay, sure. Okay.
Everyone wants our warm, roomy Polar Fleece pullover. It has a half-zip front and embroidered ESPN the Magazine logo. And best of all, it's free.
ESPN the Magazine. It's Rich Eisen. He's called 3 times.
Sorry, Rich. I agree, it's a great-looking fleece, but it's only for new subscribers.
Subscribe now to ESPN the Magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold, fast and furious. With in-your-face photos, amazing interviews, and behind-the-scenes coverage of what's happening now and what's happening next. All with ESPN attitude.
Stuart Scott wants the fleece.
Booyah! Call now for ESPN the Magazine. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. That's 66% off the newsstand price. And your fleece pullover is free.
It's Chris Berman. He could go all the way!
Call now for ESPN the Magazine and your free fleece pullover. 1-800-491-2233.
Ho, ho, ho! Happy holidays!
Oh, I hope you didn't put all those on the credit card.
Yeah, why?
Do you know what those interest charges are going to do to us?
Don't worry. I used our new Capital One card. It's interest-free.
Get 0% interest on all purchases until May 2001 when you apply for a new Capital One card today.
To the neighbors!
Don't let mounting interest charges ruin your holidays. Apply for a new Capital One card at CapitalOne.com. All your purchases are interest-free till May 2001.
Gotta tell Steve and Laura about Capital One.
Apply today at CapitalOne.com.
What's in your wallet?
14-14, and we've played one quarter. This is the start of the second quarter, not the start of the second half. And Delta State is on the move at the Bloomsburg 25-yard line. Jeff Smith, the second quarterback to work, and a quick shot to Jody Jennings, and Jennings is bounced out of bounds by Jeremiah Dyer. Todd Christensen, numbers are pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you're tuning in for a defensive slugfest, sorry. Almost 300 yards total offense, and the stat that stands out is right here. The average per play, that's just astonishing.
Steve Campbell was a center on a national championship team when he played at Troy State. And he has brought Delta State to their first appearance in the national championship game. It was in this stadium that Campbell was the center on that Troy State team in '87. And DeForest Hart busts inside the 10 and down to the 8. Campbell was a graduate assistant for Pat Dye at Auburn. Spent 2 years in community college in Southwest Mississippi, and they hired him at Delta State. And here he is at 13-1.
And everybody that I had talked to said that his strong suit is as a motivator. And he could have fooled me.
And look who's back, Josh Bright, in relief of Jeff Smith. Smith got him inside the 10, and here's Bright, who runs that option so well. Bright has scored twice today. This time he's bounced outside and brought down.
It was very interesting there. That was a situation to where they had opted not to pitch the ball. And the reason was that the back took off. He had just decided at a certain point, well, forget it, I'm going to get upfield and make a block.
Todd, you normally say this about fullbacks, but it appears to me that Bright is a north-south runner for a quarterback. He doesn't go side to side that well, but when he's straight ahead and pops to the line, that's where he's most effective.
And usually when you have guys that are 6'5", they're a little bit awkward. He is not awkward at all.
Troy State going with, or Delta State going without a huddle. In motion is Hart. And there goes Bright jumping down to the 2.
He reminds me a little bit, and I know this sounds strange, but I remember doing Tim Couch's first game with Kentucky, and they actually ran the option there, and he was similar dimensions. Couch lost some weight, and I don't know if that's something that Bright wants to do when he becomes more of a passer, but certainly in this offense, the added weight is a benefit. And I mentioned the thing about awkwardness. I'm just impressed by the fact that there's no clumsiness about him, no lankiness. It's usually indigenous to the quarterback that's that tall.
He's run for 59 yards already on 8 carries. And on 3rd down and goal, Bright gives it to McDonald, fights his way close to the goal line.
Now, this is interesting because they're going to say that they stopped his momentum, but I think at the very last, he actually fell over the goal line, but they're not going to give it to him. Nonetheless, it's clear that Delta State, I think that falls into the heading of no-brainer, that they're going to go for it.
4th and goal with the nose of the football.
All right.
Almost on the goal line.
I'm feeling bold. I'm going way out here. Quarterback keeper.
On 4th and goal. Movement. And a hit. Did he get in? Yes. Touchdown, Tanny Flowers.
Booker moved.
And no flags.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Chris Booker is in the backfield. You can see him lurch forward just a little bit. The official doesn't call it. Watch right here. You can see the movement. You saw that movement just a little bit. Great at the point of attack by the linebacker trying to hold him back. The man who jumps up and makes the play is Jeremy Matrician.
Well, he must have gotten over with 2nd effort. And then you can see him reach the ball out. Boy, that was close.
That was.
And the point is good. Steve Campbell and his statesman of Delta State on top now, 21-14.
I love the way you always treat me tenderly, but darling, most of all, I love how you love me.
For every job, there's a hard way, or there's the Dremel way. The Dremel rotary tool with more than 150 available accessories. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
Is there an insurance company with a 146-year history of proving that your trust is not misplaced? Without question, the St. Paul.
Steve Campbell getting his Delta State statesmen fired up as if they need any help right now. A 21-14 leads. And what has been a wild start to this national championship game.
Dorgan kicking off.
Billy Dorgan, who executed a brilliant onside kick earlier in the game, kicks it away. Bryant Stone from his 2. And Stone is hit and dropped at the 18-yard line. The equivalent of the Heisman Trophy in Division II football is the Harlan Hill Trophy. And last night, Dusty Bonner of Valdosta State was awarded the trophy, and down below is Holly Rowe with Mr. Bonner.
Dusty Bonner had a difficult choice to make this year. He transferred from the University of Kentucky to Valdosta State, and Dusty winning the Heisman, or the equivalent of the Heisman in Division II, the Harlan Hill Trophy. In retrospect, was that the best decision for you?
Yeah, it was the best decision for me, and when I made the decision, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I was just going to move on. And, fortunately for me, I got on a great team with a lot of great players and great coaches, and it's been a great experience for me.
What's the biggest difference you can tell us about Division II football? You've had experiences at both schools.
You know, probably just size. You know, the guys at Division I are pretty big, and size and speed. You know, there's a lot of fast guys in Division II, but all around speed's quicker in Division I. But it basically comes down to that. But there's a lot of great players in Division II, a lot of great athletes, and it's been fun.
You've had an opportunity to play against Delta State twice this year. They beat you both times. What can you say about this team? What challenge do they present?
Well, they got a great offense. Their offense is almost like a defense. They keep the other team's offense off the field, eat up the clock, and but their defense, they play solid, they tackle solid. You're not going to get a whole lot of big plays, so it's going to take time to score, but just got to kind of hang in there with them. If you can stop their offense, and you'll be all right.
Well, thanks very much, and congratulations for being named the best player in Division II college football.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Holly. It was a tough decision for him to make at Kentucky, a decision that was made when Hal Mumme decided that after leading the SEC in passing last year that Bonner was his #2 quarterback, and his numbers this year just incredible. Miller throwing, and it's dropped by Terrell Johnson. And we have the first 3 and out of the ball game.
And not that a 3 and out is ever a good thing, but certainly this is an inopportune time for Bloomsburg, especially after Delta State had, just as we pointed out, held serve, scored their touchdown. Now, Delta State is going to have terrific field position.
Yeah, Joe Dietrich is the first punter sighting we've had today. Casey Mackey is deep. He's a good punter, but that's not a great punt as it lands at the 45 and rolls out to midfield. And Delta State will have outstanding field position. We told you about the Harlan Hill. That's the Division II equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. The real thing will be presented tonight at the Downtown Athletic Club. Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Wendy's on ESPN. It's tonight at 8 Eastern. Josh Heupel, LaDainian Tomlinson, Drew Brees, Chris Wenke, and over on ESPN Classic, you've got the Classic Heisman celebration. Games from former winners: Marcus Allen, Barry Sanders, Desmond Howard, Ty Detmer. 9 Eastern, see one of the greatest games from this year's Heisman Trophy winners.
Who's your pick?
Mr. Wenke.
Me too.
He would be my pick and my guess. Josh Bright throws incomplete at the 30-yard line.
So you don't think he'll be punished for being 28 years of age?
No. No. I think in this day of political correctness, I think a 28-year-old can win the Heisman Trophy.
I would agree with you. And I hope you're right, because I think he's very deserving. That's 3 straight years now Florida State will be in the national championship game, and he was the quarterback on all 3 teams. That says a lot.
Delta State now 2nd down and 10. And Bright's throw, Jody Jennings makes the catch, and he scampers out of bounds right at the sticks, the 39-yard line. A gain of 11. It's a first down.
Well, Division II has produced its share of NFL players as well. You can see currently in the NFL some pretty impressive names on that list.
All right, Brent Jones, tell me, which Division II school did Brent
Santa
Jones?
Clara.
All right, and they no longer play Division II football at Santa Clara.
No, that's right.
The Broncos have stopped. They had a great run, though. Yeah.
John Randall, Darrell Green from Texas A&M. Really Pro Bowl players, in fact.
Here's Bright on the quarterback draw, and he's down to the 35-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup. So we've seen from Steve Campbell's offense, we've seen the triple option. We've seen the 3 and the 4 wideouts. And we've seen them march 62, 54, and 75 yards on their 3 possessions.
And what's frustrating for Bloomsburg defense is, what do? They've been trying everything, but of course when you spread them out, the offensive line of Delta State has really been dominant here. You got to give them a lot of credit.
And look at this look. A 5-receiver look with Bright in the shotgun. And it doesn't work, needless to say. Mike Belinsky, the junior out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
Remember, he was the one that had the tackle for loss in the other series. One of the things that you see here is the fake does not bother anybody. Watch as he comes up thinking that they're going to run. Now he steps back thinking that that's going to bother. It didn't faze Belinsky at all. He was able to go through the guard and tackle gap and get the sack.
We've talked about the different looks of the offense for the wide receivers and the running backs, but for an offensive line to be able to block the option and block a pass spread, that's a real difference.
It is, and obviously it's clear that they're not used to pass blocking.
Here's Bright, a center screen, and Rico McDonald has it, and McDonald is all the way down to the 28-yard line. It is a big first down pickup on 3rd down and 15. Delta State picks up a first down.
And that's particularly disappointing for Bloomsburg, and here's why. You had to figure that this was not a downfield throw, that they're going to do something like that, whether it's a flanker screen or middle screen. Give credit to McDonald for getting the ball downfield, but again, I think the Bloomsburg defense should have been much more aware of that, knowing that that's not a quarterback that can beat you with a downfield throw.
111 yards per game for Rico McDonald, Ripley, Mississippi. Delta State in Cleveland, Mississippi. Bright, quick throw. Jody Jennings the catch. And Jennings to the 20. 7-yard pickup.
Once again, what they're doing here is keeping people off balance. And as long as you do those little plays seemingly innocuous, all of a sudden you go back to the middle or you go with that lead with the quarterback running. You got people spread out all over the field. Bloomsburg is on their heels. They don't know what to do.
8 yards, man. 2nd and 2.
And it's obviously hard to substitute when they move from that option to that spread look, because Delta State does not huddle. And there's the quarterback draw. Josh Bright is inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line. Bryant Stone made the stop, and it's another Delta State first down.
It certainly helps. We've been mentioning the quarterback's size ad nauseum, but when he also gets like a 7-yard head start running back there, and you got your offensive lineman pushing people off the ball. And of course, this is what we have been talking about. So frustrated as Bloomsburg. Now they're going to call timeout and see if they can regroup a little bit.
And inside the 20, they are 3 of 3 for 3 touchdowns. Bloomsburg takes a timeout. 7:54 left in this first half. 21-14 Delta State.
I want to tell you about a brand new way.
Brand new way of quitting smoking.
It's unique. It's effective.
It's orange.
New Nicorette Orange.
It's Nicorette.
So I still help prevent cravings on my own regular schedule.
I still help answer cravings with another piece.
And now I have orange.
Brand new orange flavor. Only from Nicorette.
Here, taste this.
Now this just may be a flavor I can quit with.
Sometimes victory's so close.
You can taste it.
You can do it. New Nicorette Orange can help.
My internet service crashes so often. I had to buy a helmet.
AT&T WorldNet service has fewer disconnects.
Hey, here's an impression for you. That's me waiting to log on to my internet service.
The fastest logon time and the highest speed connection.
My online service has amazing security. Even I can't get in.
AT&T WorldNet service has fewer busy signals.
My online service is down so often, I had it treated for clinical depression.
#1 in customer satisfaction, J.D. Power and Associates.
Hello.
Call now, 1-800-WorldNet, and switch to AT&T WorldNet service.
My online service left me so poor, I got married just for the rice.
It's only $4.95 a month, including 6 email addresses, navigation toolbar, online support, chat, and instant messaging.
Take my internet service, please.
AT&T WorldNet service, only $4.95 a month. Call now.
Delta State 21, Bloomsburg 14, 8 minutes left first half. Delta State's offense looks unstoppable right now.
Well, hopefully Paul Dare was able to put something on and see, hey, come on, hold him, hang in there, see if you can make him kick a field goal, something.
And let's see what adjustments Bloomsburg has made off the timeout. Josh Bright is 3 of 3 in the air on this drive. McDonald with the carry, and he carries his man down to the 2-yard line. Matt Keys will get credited with the tackle, but he actually got a ride on that for about 6 yards.
Well, we mentioned the defensive coordinator and the frustrations that he's had. I think one of the things that he hadn't anticipated as he sends in yet another of his charges is the reality that he didn't think that offensive line was going to be as dominant as it has been. Delta State is just knocking people off the ball at this point, Rich.
Rico McDonald at 5'10", 203 is a load to bring down. And flags come down. Remember, on 4th down and inches.
Timeout. Bloomsburg.
Bloomsburg takes another timeout. And so the Huskies now on 1st and goal from the 2 will take a timeout.
This is, you know what, this is a mistake. And the reason I say that is that, you know, this close to the goal line, Delta State's going to punch it in. You want to save your timeout for your offense. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative here where Bloomsburg is concerned, but you have to deal in the reality of the situation, and that is that Delta State's going to get it in. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. Let's save that timeout because we might need it here in the last 2 minutes.
You look at Danny Hale, the head coach for Bloomsburg. Last week in the semifinals, he was on the road against the favorite, UC Davis, and he was down in the fourth quarter by 19 points. And he said, for a moment, it flashed through my mind that this game could get out of hand. It's too bad because it was a closer game than the score, and we had a great season. And then all of a sudden, he said, the thought vanished, and bang, they reeled off 4 touchdowns and won the ball game.
I think that was very candid of him as a head coach, because so many times coach speak will tell you, well, we're not out of this game, we know we can do it, you know, that sort of thing. Instead, he was very honest. But he said that to a man, the players, I remember offensive coordinator Jim Manos said that to a man, the players believe that they could come back. And once again, it appears that that's going to be the situation here. They're going to have to come back from a significant deficit.
McDonald is up and over and in. Rico McDonald. Delta State scores again.
Does Rico McDonald remind you a little bit of Adrian Peterson at Georgia Southern? Same dimensions, 5'9", about 200 pounds, playing
in a similar offense,
similar
offense, yeah. Todd, because what makes those two guys, McDonald and Peterson, so effective is the explosion they get and the quickness with which they reach the line of scrimmage. Yep. Delta State has had 4 possessions. Flag down. The extra point was through. Bloomsburg was offsides, and I would expect Delta State will take the point.
Offside. Defense. Penalties decline. Points good.
4 possessions, 4 long touchdown drives, and Delta State a 28-14 lead over Bloomsburg.
A camp for local kids with special needs wanted help. We were there.
A customer lost her sight. We helped teach her to recognize coins by touch.
We welcome new Bloomsburg University students. We visit customers at nursing homes. We are the employees of First Columbia Bank.
My customers are my friends. It's that simple.
First Columbia's customer service is downright neighborly.
Columbia Mall will put you in the holiday spirit. Each week through Christmas, we're giving away a different gift. And every day we're giving away 2 scooters. Plus, enter to win a $2,000 dream vacation from Liberty Travel. This week's free gift is a bag of delicious sourdough pretzels. And you can purchase these attractive planters for $2.50 or $3. Visit Mall Services for all the details. And while you're in the mall, shop at our many stores for all your holiday needs. Free gifts, prizes, and great gift ideas from Columbia Mall.
Seriously, man, what's your real name?
It's Trey Winger.
Trey Winger.
28-14, Delta State on top of Bloomsburg. And the Statesmen, that last touchdown drive, 50 yards. Billy Dorgan to kick it off.
Nice catch.
Brian Stone. And Stone breaks a couple tackles. And he's out to the 40-yard line. 30 yards on the return. We talked about Bloomsburg and their comebacks. The one at the top of your screen was their opening game. They were down 15, and they lost to Carson Newman, who was the runner-up in Division II football for the previous 2 years. But then look, Millersville, Kutztown, Saginaw Valley, and the big comeback was against UC Davis last week at Davis.
Impressive there that they scored those 29 points in a quarter. That was amazing. And as you pointed out, in a hostile environment.
Bouncing it outside is Aristine Henry. And Henry is close to midfield. Down below, Holly Rowe.
Guys, because Bloomsburg lost the first 2 games of the season, to make the playoffs for Division II, they had to win every single game after that. One more loss and they would have been eliminated for contention for the postseason. So to these guys, every game has been a do-or-die game, and that's why they've been the comeback kids.
You know, we had talked, Rich, about the idea when we talked with them yesterday. You said you have kind of a sense of destiny after the big comebacks and things that have gone their way, and they genuinely felt that they did. But up to this point, I have to say the Statesmen are not reading the same script.
And it's Henry, the junior out of Philadelphia. 2 carries, and he rips off a couple of nice runs down to the 38. It's a 12-yard pickup.
I like what Jim Manos, offensive coordinator for Bloomsburg, is doing here. Yes, you're down 2 touchdowns, but there's 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. There's no need to panic. You're doing very well offensively, except for 1 series. So you continue to run off tackles, continue to do the things you've been doing, get a touchdown back, and hope that somehow on the sidelines your defense can regroup.
Eric Miller, the senior quarterback. It's Henry again. He lost the football, and Delta State has it. Andre Brown with the recovery. And our first turnover, Aristine Henry coughs it up.
This is really a shame because they had it going. You can see Brown is actually the guy that separates him from the ball as well. And this is really what Bloomsburg needed the other way around, and that is they needed Delta State to drop the ball. Very costly at this juncture, Rich.
And it puts Bloomsburg's defense, which looks obviously very vulnerable right now, right back on the field. Right. He'll pitch it. Tanny Flowers out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Flowers with a 14-yard pickup.
It's only the second time. This is only the second time that we've seen him pitch the ball. Almost every time that he's run the option, he has kept it. But this shows the skill of Bright. There he is, takes 2 guys with him, does a great job, gets the blocks to the outside. Well run, very efficient is this Delta State offense.
Tanny Flowers, who had an 18-yard pickup, went 14 for that one. And it's Flowers again. He's down to the 40-yard line. The senior out of Starkville, Mississippi. 12 yards on the pickup.
Well, again, the gaps that are being created by the offensive line of Delta State. Take a look as he cut. Look at that. Just absolutely huge there. You can see he's able to cut through. The offensive line for Delta State is doing their job well.
Bright's going to put it up, and his throw is on the money to James Grubbs.
Now here's part of the frustration again, to be repetitive with regards to Bloomsburg's defense. You can't stop the run, and then you get a guy who is not a throwing quarterback, and he's able to deliver the ball. Then what do? You might have to do some things that are very unorthodox. I mean, I'm talking about 9 in the box. Don't worry about a back coming out of the backfield. You have to do something here.
And a flag is down.
Well, I tell you what, they must have started that too soon, because I can't imagine Delta State in a no huddle with a delay of game. I think Bright's got a beef, and you can see Campbell's not very happy about it either.
Game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Rich, I'm telling you, they must have started that 25-second clock around the time of the completion, because there's no way that a no huddle team should have a delay of game. The followers of the Statesmen are not very happy about it. As you can hear the chorus of boos in the background.
You can see that Steve Campbell signaling in the plays, and then Josh Bright will call the play at the line of scrimmage, let everybody know, no huddle. It's a lot like Northwestern, though Bright does not have a whole lot of leeway to check off. He didn't do a whole lot of checking out. And Mario Purifoy, the freshman, spins down to the 30-yard line. Third down and short coming up.
Although when you're running as effectively as this team is running, there's not much reason to check out.
Well, it's one thing you get when you don't huddle is the defensive look on the other side of the ball. It doesn't change much because this Bloomsburg defense has been unable to substitute. Not that that would have made much of a difference. And straight ahead goes Bright. He's got another first down.
It's nearly 100. That's 183 rushing yards in the first half for Delta State. And obviously, if you're Bloomsburg and the team is running that effectively, then that just opens everything else up, as I say. And one of the things that they're doing, of course, is that when they line up with their wide receiver packages, that takes the people out of the box Bloomsburg is stuck in. And the linebackers that you pointed out early on, the 100 tackle guys, well, they're still getting their tackles, but they're all 5, 6, 8 yards downfield.
Yeah. Sometimes 10, 12, 14.
Yep.
189, the rushing yardage. And for a team that runs this type of offense, they turn it over very infrequently. Bright hit, spins away, and he's going to pick up some yardage inside the 20, bounced out at the 18-yard line. Luke Murray made the stop. He does not move like a 6'5", 235-pound quarterback.
He really doesn't, and again, this is what's demoralizing for Bloomsburg. Sims does a great job on penetration. Looks like he has him stuffed. Where are my friends? Instead, he shakes him off. Big stiff arm downfield, and as you pointed out, I mean, it's very interesting when you get used to certain body types. You know, when we watch the sports that we do, you think of 6'5", 235. I think of somebody like, say, Drew Bledsoe, Mark Rippon, Ryan Leaf, that kind of body type. This guy's 6'5", 235, but he's very nimble. The coach pointed out to us he runs 4.7.
And this is Bright again. Down to the 11. Jeremiah Dyer made the stop.
He took a couple of whacks on that play. You can see how slowly he's getting up. My guess is he won't keep it this time. He'll hand off.
Batesville, Mississippi.
Watch his head at the end of the play here. He's going to get whacked from the side. Kind of a double. Right here, he's not look. Right here, bang. Gets that helmet right between the 1 and the 0. That hurts.
It was enough for the first down, the 19th first down.
Wow.
For Delta State. Little inside look to DeForest Hart. Would that be the old crossbuck again?
It was, and it's been very effective for them, as has, frankly, everything else for that matter. I guess that was superfluous of me to say. Now, you'll notice that one of the things that they want to do with 2:47 and the clock counting is that they want to take a little more time off the 25-second clock because they're now down inside the 10. Yes, they want to score, but they also do not want to afford Bloomsburg the opportunity to get it back up the field.
And Delta State will get the football to start the second half. Bright with time and a man, and it's broken up. DeForest Hart was the intended receiver. Toye Berry broke it up.
I'm sorry, I was excited. I just couldn't wait to say that name. I did. I wanted to say Toye. Great play action, straightens up, has his man. Look at Berry right at the last, able to get up. And in fact, if he'd have got up just a little bit sooner, might have had a pick. Again, it's interesting. I would have thought that's what was going to fool them was the play action. That hasn't been the case today. They just have not been able to stop Delta State on the ground.
5 of 6 on third down today are Delta State. A little reverse pitch to Jason Franklin, and Franklin is 5. He's in. Touchdown, Statesman.
And Toye Berry had an opportunity to drop him down at about the 12-yard line. Watch number 24. He's going to come up the field. He has the opportunity to make the play, but he's going to get juked. This is the old Stanford option. You have your receiver coming. Now watch number 24 come up and get juked right there. He misses the play. As a result, blocks downfield, in for the touchdown. Jason Franklin shows his running ability as well as his catching ability. But again, boy, I tell you what, they are blocking people as Delta State.
Billy Dorgan for the point. The Statesmen have made a statement. 35-14. Delta State on top in the Division II championship game.
3 Doors Down, the multi-platinum album, The Better Life. Featuring the #1 smash hit, Kryptonite. Also including the #1 rock track, Loser. To order by credit card, call 1-888-741-2700. Order now and receive a free music video of their single, Kryptonite.
If you have thinning hair, then this new booklet is something you should have, and you'll get it free if you call this toll-free number now. The booklet discusses the recent breakthroughs in genetic therapy and the latest non-surgical advancements. You'll see men like yourself who are able to get their hair back without drugs or surgery and have a totally active lifestyle. Whether you're getting it wet or roughing it up, no matter what sport, it looks, feels, and acts just like your own growing hair. So call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now for your free booklet. And by the way, I'm also a client.
2 eager CEOs. One encouraged his employees to read the Wall Street Journal. The other did not. Let's join them for their 5-year anniversaries and see what happened. Imagine what the Journal could do for you. It's now easier to get the Journal to help you. Get 8 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just 37 cents a day. That's 50% off the regular rate. Call 800-313-1600. That's 800-313-1600 for the Wall Street Journal.
Danny Hale and his Bloomsburg Huskies are in a 21-point hole right now. Final minutes, first half, Division II National Championship game. They've been in this position before, and they've climbed out of those holes. A 12-game win streak after they lost the first 2 games of their season. How many teams go 0-2 in college football and end up in a national championship game?
None that I can think of offhand.
Yep, 12 in a row. Brian Stone from his 8th. Stone to the 36. And Bloomsburg will try to salvage this half with their final drive. Let's go down below to Holly Rowe.
Guys, Delta State having a bit of good luck here and good play in the first half. One of the reasons, this little good luck charm that they have worked up over the season. It's called El Diablo, the little devil baby. They put the scores of all the games they've won on the baby's tummy, and then they have started adding a charm for every team they've beaten this season. Here you see the Mule Riders that went down in defeat. And for today's game, they've got the dog pound for the Huskies. As long as this little torch and baby are on the sidelines, Delta State has been winning games.
Eric Miller throwing to the sideline. Mike Lelko makes the catch. Out to the 40-yard line.
Well, what's up with Holly Wonder there with the shades, huh?
Well, it's bright down there.
It's Josh Bright down there is what it is.
Well, Eric Miller, the senior quarterback, who's had such a wonderful year, is going to be called upon big time now. Clock is rolling, and here's the timeouts that Bloomsburg had to squander in the first half, Todd. You mentioned them. You see the number of total plays. Glaze, no gain. 3rd down and about 7.
Well, this is where Bloomsburg needs to go into the no huddle and start to hurry things up. I'm really surprised at that call there. Again, Miller has been very effective up to this point. You see only 1 timeout remaining. Now they huddle with the clock running. This is really mismanaging the clock here by the Huskies.
Third down 6. Miller, little shovel pass, and Delta State was all over it. Andre Brown, like a shot, drops Marcus Glaze.
I don't know what the thinking was on that at all. And now a timeout is being called, I'm guessing, by Delta State to get another opportunity to get on the field. This is a strange, it's a little bit of a screen pass there. He flips the ball, but you can see that Andre Brown is able to penetrate all of the blockers and drop Glaze for a loss.
Delta State stops the clock. They'll get the ball back when we get back. 35-14 Statesman.
Remember college?
I bet you do.
I bet you do.
Remember the highs, the lows,
The pressure.
the parties?
Are you kidding me? You're gonna risk your hard-earned cash
Take food off your table. Off your table?
betting on
18-year-old kids?
kids.
You might as well.
Throw your money away.
Fool.
Fool.
So watch our games for this kind of
This kind of action.
not this.
Not this.
Because if you're banking on me,
Make your day?
don't bet on it. Don't bet on it.
Santa Claus has come early. Delta State 35-14, a big lead as we head towards halftime. Joe Dietrich is in to punt. And I don't know if that's another good luck charm or if a stocking stuffer. Casey Mackey deep. There's a look at Dietrich. Bloomsburg, their offense effective in the first quarter. Not in the second quarter. That punt almost blocked, and they'll let it drop and roll inside the 30.
Now, I wonder if we'll see Jeff Smith, their thrower, in on this series. What do you think?
He moved the ball well in his one series. Coming up at halftime, stick with us. Reese Davis, Rodney Gilmore on our halftime report, the Heisman report. They'll get your thoughts on the big award going on tonight at the Downtown Athletic Club right here on ESPN. A top 10 upset in college hoops and more coaching news.
I know that your boy Rodney, I had heard him, I guess it was about a week ago. He was pushing for Josh Heupel, but that was before the game, their championship game against K-State. I wonder if he still feels the same way.
Well, you'll have to watch halftime.
Oh, all right.
It's all part of the deal. And the answer to your question was Josh Bright is in, and he takes a knee. And Steve Campbell, rather than risk a turnover, happy with a 21-point lead at halftime of a national championship game.
As would anybody be.
You bet. There's a look at Jeff Smith, the senior quarterback.
What's up? Where's my chance? Come on, let me in. Is that what he's saying? Oh, no.
He's played well this year. He's completed 60% of his passes. Transfer from Ole Miss. Steve Campbell and his Delta State statesmen are up big at halftime. And it's going to take another comeback from Bloomsburg. 35-14, the Division II National Championship game. Bring it on, Reese Davis.
All right, Rich and Todd and Holly stomping around in my old home area down there. 35-14 at the half. Delta State took care of Valdosta State and Dusty Bonner earlier this season. They alluded to the comeback that Bloomsburg made last week.
Yeah, remember that they knocked off a UC Davis team that was pretty good, expected to be here. 19 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Aggies. Don't give up on this Bloomsburg team yet. They've got the offense to get back in it.
35-14, they're going to have to find a way to stop the Statesman, though, in that option. Big quarterback that can move a little bit for Delta State, too, Mr. Bright. Speaking of guys can move and rise, Frankie Williams, Illinois, welcoming the kids in the hall, and the old man at the Downtown Athletic Club, Chris Winkie. The Heisman talk coming.
I wish you well.
Go ahead.
This holiday season, I wish for happiness and prosperity for our family and peace on earth.
I wish for a grill guard, a tool set, floor mats, ooh, seat covers.
Pep Boys has what guys want. Custom alloy wheels in stock from $69.99 and 35,000-mile tires, 4 for $99. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
In our family, men lose their hair early.
Thank you.
By the time we hit 30, we don't have to invest much in combs. So I started using Rogaine when I was like 28, at the first sign of fallout. Before I looked like I needed it, because I knew I would. So here I am. I've been using Rogaine for about 2 years now, right at the source of the problem, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have. Look, I love my dad. I'm just not in a rush to look like him. Simple, safe, smart. Rogaine. It's stronger than heredity.
Welcome to Sports Center in-game.
Delta State now 30 minutes away from a national championship if they can hold the 35-14 lead over Bloomsburg. Glad to have you with us on SportsCenter in-game. Rodney Gilmore is along. We'll talk some football and Heisman in just a bit, but first where they settle it on the field in the playoffs. Division III, and last year when Rowan beat Mount Union, it hardly brought about the end of the Purple Raiders juggernaut, because Mount Union is going back to the Division III championship game, hammering Widener 70-30.
Yeah, a little bit of smack today. How about that? 23 of 30, 327 yards, 4 TDs. Mount Union, yeah, 70 points. They run it up whenever they get a chance. It's just respect.
They'd never run up this high before in a playoff game. That set a school record for points in Mount Union on its way to the championship game. They take on the winner of the St. John's, Minnesota Hardin-Simmons game, and that thing's in the fourth quarter right now, and it looks as if St. John's and Johnnies are going to head into the title game up 31-14 over Hardin-Simmons.
And you figure that'd be a good matchup, but Mount Union likely to be favored in that ball game next weekend. Should be a good one, a lot of scoring.
Tom Lenneman, a couple of touchdown passes. He's thrown for over 200 yards thus far. On AA, also in the semifinal stage, Appalachian State. I bet you would guess they're at Montana. The snow is everywhere. Drew Miller picked off by Deshaun Martin, snuffing out a drive. App State territory, still in the first quarter. Miller this time buys himself a little time and guns one to T.J. Okers, and he'll rip off 50.
And you throw in weather like this because you don't worry about the pass rush. Who can grip the ground and get to the quarterback? Nobody.
Snowy Missoula. Montana using that home snow advantage to a 6-0 lead. A couple of field goals in the first half. Miller's thrown for 178 yards. They've yet to get it into the end zone.
Yeah, well, you know, poor footing down there. But again, keep throwing the ball in that weather because you got the time.
And guess who's waiting in the championship game next week? None other than the program that Irk Russell built. Georgia Southern took care of Delaware 27-18 the final. Delaware, a couple of field goal attempts blocked. They missed a third one. 9-point differential in that game. The Eagles advanced to their third straight championship game. Adrian Peterson, 198 yards for the fine running back from Georgia Southern. And don't forget the Division III and Division I AA championships on ESPN next week. Rod, there's a little award being given out tonight down at the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City. And I know that we've had courts intervening to stop the count of votes. All of the votes are in this time. How do you see the Heisman coming
Why is
out?
everything so close this year? And do we need the Supreme Court to step in on this one? And for your information, Todd Christensen, yeah, Josh Heupel, I think, is still the guy based on what he did this season in big games. We didn't have dominant numbers by anybody breaking records, but what Oklahoma did behind Heupel in the big games with Texas, Kansas State, and Texas A&M and Nebraska, those are the things that got it done for them. Florida State, Winky's going to be in the mix with them, but I really like what Heupel's done this year, bringing them from 20th to #1.
And you know, one of the things I think that works in favor of Heupel as well, if history is any indicator, the Walter Camp Award. Only one time since 1980, somebody won the Camp and not won the Heisman, and Heupel took the Camp Award just a week or so ago as college football's top player, according to that foundation. How it goes in New York City tonight will unfold in front of the eyes of Chris Fowler and friends. Chris?
Well, Reese, there is some suspense building. I think we'd all be surprised if this were not one of the closest Heisman races in history. 4 very worthy finalists, all very accomplished careers, all seniors, all have won pre-Heisman awards. Their teams have all won conference championships. They've all been great leaders. They've all made their teams better, and that is all adding up to a very close Heisman race. Of course, one of the most spirited, hot debates of this Heisman season has been the age of Chris Winky at 28. He would be 5 years older than any previous Heisman winner. Now, when you bring that up with Winky, well, that gets him just a little hot.
For people to talk about my age is unfair, and I think that when it comes down to it, and I've said it from day one, the trophy says it's given to the best college football player in the country. It doesn't have an asterisk that says between 18 and 22.
You know, Winky is so good and his team's so good, sometimes people feel like, well, it's unfair. Of course he's good. He's 28. He's got all that maturity. But what did he do for 6 years to make him a better college quarterback?
You know what, for the last month, we've been hearing about it, all this age thing with Chris Winky. This should have been talked about back in August, before the season started. Once you allowed him to go out and play in that first game, you can't expect to change the rules and say, Chris Winky, wait, you're having too good a year. You're 28 years old. That's why. Once he was allowed to play as a 28-year-old, all bets are off. He can win the national title. He can win the Heisman Trophy. He can do whatever he wants to do because he's a college football player. So you people out there pushing that, stop. Enough is enough.
It's too late.
Yeah,
the votes
exactly.
are already in.
That's
You
right.
should have said that last week. Now, Chris Winkie is his best at big games. And here's some interesting stat. He averaged 457 yards against the top 10 teams he played, 3 of them, and 8 touchdowns in those games. And here's another interesting note. Only 2 Heisman Trophy winners, Andre Ware and Ty Detmer, had more yards passing in a single season than Chris Winkie. Chris Winkie has the Heisman numbers. He might not get the trophy, but he sure got the numbers.
Only 1 quarterback's won this in the last 5 years. That's definitely going to change, but it's been interesting. The criteria for this award, it's vague, and that's intentionally so. More and more people beginning to treat this as an MVP. Who means more to their team? Winkie to the Seminoles, Josh Heupel to the Oklahoma Sooners. The ballot just says the most outstanding player. There's nothing confusing about it, but we expect a real close vote. Reese, back to you.
Sort of exemplifying that close vote, Chris, a responsible opposing view, counselor, to what Kirk said about the age issue?
Well, yeah, I think, you know, age is a factor that they can consider if they like. It's not an issue of whether he can play this season. Sure, the rules allow him to play. But if voters want to take into account that a guy is 5 or 6 years older, has more maturity, has played professional baseball, that's their prerogative. There's no criteria for the award. Let them do it if they want to.
And, you know, I think, Rod, one of the big things is going to be, did many voters leave Winkie off their ballots entirely simply because of his age? That might be enough to push Heupel over the top. We shall see. It will all unfold before your very eyes on ESPN tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The 2000 Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Wendy's. Chris Fowler will be your host, and we'll all look forward to that. First half, Delta State. Reverse! Stay home! Nobody did. Jason Franklin scored. Delta State on top of Bloomsburg by 3 touches.
Hey, all these bags are missing their heat wave cores.
What's that?
Andy, we can't deliver hot pizzas without these cores.
The exclusive core in the Domino's Heatwave bag delivers your pizza hot. Call Domino's now to get freshly made pizza delivered hot to your door. Domino's, bad Andy, good pizza.
With 1-800-COLLECT, you save a buck or two. So why doesn't everyone use it? It's so simple. You use 1-800-COLLECT to make that call, right?
Oh, I forgot.
Forgot? You forgot. 1-800-COLLECT. Collect call is so simple.
Well, I've been up all night studying, man.
Yeah, they're studying all night. It's like the number is 1-800-COLLECT, okay? Write it down. It'll save you big bucks. Have you heard of paper?
Yeah.
1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
Saving money is very important, especially with all the gift giving we do.
My shopping list gets pretty big, close to about 70 people. With the prices at Walmart, I don't have to spend a lot of money to give a good gift.
You can get things for your family, for your neighbors, for your friends.
When buying for that many people, I definitely have to stick within a certain budget, and Walmart helps ease that craziness around the holiday time.
Walmart is the first stop, and it is the last stop.
I don't have to spend a lot of money, still be able to get a lot of gifts.
It's just a great place to shop.
Little college hoop for you now in Sports Center in game. Illinois has lost 2 games this season. 1 to the number 1 team in the land, 1 to the number 2 team in the land. So how would they fare against number 8, Seton Hall, coming into Champaign? First time that the Illini have one of these top-ranked teams on its home floor. Frankie Williams stripping Darius Lane. Thank you very much. Illini up by 1. Seton Hall will then go on a 29-8 run. Ty Shine blocking Williams' shot. And you want to call this one, Rod, from Darius Lane?
Oh, he's logged on?
No, we don't log on in basketball, do we?
No, he doesn't. With the kiss. To quote an old Seton Hall coach, more Seton Hall, Marcus Toniel, another one of the young, fabulous players for Tommy Amaker to shine. 42-25 at that point, but boy, Bill Self, he got the Illini awake. They're on a 22-8 run right now. They've closed that thing back down to a 3-point game. They're not even halfway through the second half yet. So we're going to have a fight to the finish between the number 7 and 8 teams in the land. Marcus Griffin, the fine player for Illinois with 11 so far. Notre Dame loses at home for the 2nd straight game. Troy Murphy didn't start this game. He got caught using a fake ID to get into a bar back in October. His punishment, sit down for the first 4 minutes. When he got in there, he scored 22, but not enough to keep the Redhawks from springing their 2nd upset of the season. They got Temple earlier this year, and they killed the Irish on the boards, 39-23, the final. Michigan State, boy, they never have trouble on the boards, do they? 103-71 over Loyola Chicago. Charlie Bell with 19 points and 7 assists, the remaining Flintstone, I might add. And Florida has no trouble with Rutgers, 79-65. Udonis Haslem with a double-double. Rodney, what do you think about the Gators? You like them?
Gators, they got a little spur aspect going to them now. Basketball, they got it happening, huh?
Yeah, they're paying both those coaches. They pay Billy Donovan a little bit as well. Bob Hill, his Fordham Rams on top of St. John's, 41-36. They're now in the second half of that game. So Bob Hill trying to spring the upset. Johnny's up to a 4-2 start, a little bit shaky so far. Fordham 4-1 thus far in the early season. Delta State trying to hold on and win a national championship. But there is a second half to play. Back after this.
After being around for 85 years, you know Sunbury Motors is in it for the long haul. And so is Kia, because right now at Sunbury Motors Kia, you always get a 5-year, 60,000-mile basic warranty and a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on every new Kia. And it's standard equipment on every Sophia, Sportage, Spectra, and even the brand new Kia Rio. If you want the best price and an unbeatable warranty, then you've got to head to Sunbury Motors Kia, North 4th Street, Sunbury.
Pencil Communications has the perfect gifts you need to stay in touch. This holiday season, give a Motorola LS350 numeric pager. It's on sale for only $36.29 and comes in cool selected colors. Pencil has gift certificates, numeric, alphanumeric, and two-way pagers, cellular phones, accessories, and service options like voicemail with pager notification, email to pager service, news, weather, stock, and sports reports sent directly to your pager. Give a gift that keeps on giving. A gift from Pencil.
Dudley, get the paper.
A clean, crisp newspaper delivered to your printer automatically.
You know, I don't know that I remember a year in which so many college football jobs have been available for head coaches, particularly high-profile jobs, Rodney. 20 jobs to start this offseason. AD still doing some shopping, some guys who still have positions to fill. Pretty high-profile jobs after being spurned by Frank Beamer. North Carolina still looking around.
And one of our guys is in the mix there, Marty Schottenheimer, considered for that spot, along with Mark Rick, the offensive coordinator at Florida State.
Now, you haven't taken a job anywhere, have you? Because Makovich left me, right?
I'm going to be right here. You know, the USC situation is worth watching as well. Riley at San Diego Chargers. It's probably his job if he wants it. It's all about money. Does San Diego get some money out of USC for Riley to leave there? And very curious situation at Georgia, I thought, at least as far as the timing goes. They made the decision to fire Jim Donnan, apparently without Vince Dooley's blessing. He had wanted to keep Donnan around. One of the names that you hear circulating for the Georgia job is Ray Sherman. And from what I've heard, maybe if this were Vince Dooley's decision, Ray Sherman would have a much better opportunity, but they've got a coaching search firm involved. But the bottom line is more African-American candidates have to be considered. We have 115 Division I-A teams. We only have 4 African-American head coaches. Oh, you're absolutely right. You had 20 jobs available this season, and you aren't seeing any legitimate interviews for African-American coaching prospects this season. Ray Sherman is a perfect candidate for Georgia, and I think if it were Vince Dooley's job to make that decision, he'd probably hire him. This is where we need the presidents who want to be involved to start stepping up and getting involved in the process, or you're not going to see any changes. Certainly Vince Dooley will have a say in it. We're not trying to say that, but they've broadened this thing out, and obviously he doesn't wield the clout he once did, or else Jim Donnan would still have his job at Georgia because he recommended that he would stay around for another year. I think one of the other problems with this ride sometimes is when athletic directors start compiling their list, they go with people they know, and they're not thinking outside the box as much, and therefore you're getting the same candidates on everybody's list. That's exactly right. We've seen that at Arizona State, too, as well, when they talk about making sure that you look only to a head coach who has winning performances or so, and USC, the same criteria. Broaden the pool, guys. There's some talented guys out there. Tyrone Willingham at Stanford wouldn't be a head coach if that criteria had been used. We talked about Ray Sherman. You look at Sylvester Croom with the Detroit Lions. They either are or have been coordinators in the NFL. That gets jobs for head coaches in the NFL. You got to think that would make them qualified to be head coaches in college as well. We've got a second half to play in the Division II championship game. Delta State on top of Bloomsburg, 35-14. Second half with Rich and Todd and Holly coming.
This is when a lot of people start to worry. Are they ahead or behind in the race for college, retirement?
Mike Jarvis, AXA Advisors.
Will they have enough to do the things they want? I tell my clients a good plan can get them through, and it's never too late to get started.
AXA Advisors is one-on-one financial help.
Okay, so you're a little behind. You can catch up. I can show you how.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
Great. ESPN the magazine.
Well, thank you for calling.
Dan, can I put you on hold? Dan Patrick wants a free Polo Fleece pullover.
He writes a column for the magazine. Yeah. But he's not a new subscriber.
Sorry, Dan. No can do on the fleece. It's only for new subscribers. You mean you're actually calling to subscribe?
Everyone wants our warm, roomy Polar Fleece pullover. It has a half-zip front and embroidered ESPN the magazine logo. And best of all, it's free.
Stuart Scott wants the fleece.
Booyah!
Call now for ESPN the magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold, fast and furious. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. 66% off the newsstand price. And your fleece pullover is free.
It's Chris Berman. He could go all the way! Hello?
Call now, 1-800-814-1771.
The Hoopheads truck to Florida. On ESPN2 at 7.
South Florida's Walden and Jackson. Conference USA's 1-2 punch. Can you dig it, man?
BB Walden and Altron Jackson take on Texas. Then on ESPN at 9, Carlos Boozer is in the house. Oh, that kid can play. He leads Duke in a primetime jam with Michigan. Texas, South Florida at 7 on ESPN2. Michigan Duke at 9 on ESPN tonight.
Championship football on the ESPN family of networks next Saturday. Division III championship at high noon Eastern on ESPN2. That will be Mount Union, 4-0 all-time in championship games. Take on the winner of the St. John's Widener game. Then it'll be Georgia Southern against the Montana App State Survivor at 3 Eastern. Second half of D.
A camp for local kids with special needs wanted help. We were there.
A customer lost her sight. We helped teach her to recognize coins by touch.
We welcome new Bloomsburg University students. We visit customers at nursing homes. We are the employees of First Columbia Bank.
My customers are my friends. It's that simple.
First Columbia's customer service is downright neighborly.
Plaques, trophies, awards, they're all symbols of great achievement. Before the presentation is made, go to the pros who know trophies. Wagner's Trophies.
Wagner's Trophies has something for the sports lover on your Christmas list. Choose from t-shirts and sweatshirts with team logos, from the NFL to your favorite college teams. We even have Henry the Snowman for both Penn State and Notre Dame, as well as comfy throws to keep you warm. For your next party, stock up on our NFL cups, plates, and utensils.
Wagner's Trophies, East Main Street, Bloomsburg, where excellence begins.
Delta State 35, Bloomsburg 14, halftime about to end of the Division II National Championship game. Rich Waltz along with Todd Christensen. Steve Campbell, the Delta State coach, calls his offense the triple shoot. I think because they run the triple option so well and shoot, no one can stop it.
Certainly not today. And, you know, Bloomsburg started off well enough at the end of the first period. They were tied at 14, but then after that, Delta State was just out of control. They were just running all over them. And, of course, part of the problem for Bloomsburg is their inability to stop that first option. And, of course, that's the quarterback. You can see Bright coming up the field. He rushed for over 90 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. And, of course, once that is established, then they're able to go to their reverse package. And in this case, Jason Franklin runs it in from about 10 yards out. And in that second quarter in particular, it has been all Delta State.
Bloomsburg, as we've talked about, has been in some big holes this year, but this is a rather large one against an offense that they have been unable to stop so far. And they'll have to kick off, and they use the onside kick, and it's successful. They recover the onside kick. Zach Quigley kicked it and recovered it. And Steve Campbell said, oh, man. Delta State used it in the first half, and now Bloomsburg does it in the second half.
I'm very surprised. Now they're, no, they're changing it now. They're changing it. Now they're saying that, well, the official was backwards. You saw the replay. Great job by the kicker on the suicide onside. Actually, the same play that Delta State had run. Now, what had happened there is the official had gone the other direction and pointed. You see, that's the whimsy that the coach has on the sidelines.
Yeah. Let's go down below quickly. Holly Rowe. Holly?
Guys, Danny Hale told me that his team is very low in the locker room. You know, they had been so exuberant even though they were down 19 points last week. He says they don't have that same exuberance this week, that they have to get a turnover to try to lift their spirits and get back in this ball game. For Delta State, they told their team 29 points. That's what Bloomsburg scored last week and came back. This game is far from over. You've got to keep your head straight in the game.
I would think recovering an onside kick will do it to lift the spirits for this Bloomsburg team. And Eric Miller hits Brian Sullivan.
I'm just very surprised at how nonchalant Delta State was, because you figure down 21 and you know anything can happen in a game like this. This wasn't a big surprise, the onside kick, but Delta State act like they've never seen anything like that in their lives.
Miller, he's in trouble, and he goes down at midfield. Andre Brown was at the bottom of the pile for Delta State. First half numbers were dominated by Delta State. Not a bad first half for Bloomsburg offensively, but 304 yards. Give me a break.
Well, here's the other thing, too. Normally, I'm not a time of possession guy, but of course, as they say, if you don't have the ball, you can't score. And Delta State almost 2-1 did not let Bloomsburg have the little bit of momentum they had in the first quarter carry over into the second.
Here comes the blitz, and an inside screen to Darrell Williams. He's a big play guy, and Williams is inside the 30. First down, Bloomsburg. 18 yards on the pickup.
Great call, and Williams is the fastest player on the team. He is the guy that they go to for big plays. Here he is at the top. He's going to come underneath. Here comes the jailbreak. He lets it go. He has receivers downfield. Look at the gap that he has right here between his blockers and the defenders. Great job getting him the necessary running space downfield.
Miller's throw is almost intercepted. That's really the first bad ball we've seen him throw. Tedrick Polk was the defender.
He only had eyes for Lelko, and Polk knew that. And he was standing right in front of the lane that was. Take a look right there. You can see there's Polk right in his hands, and he can't hang on to it. Very frustrating.
And a real break for Bloomsburg. Lelko has 2 touchdown catches today. Second down and 10. First possession, second half. Bloomsburg. Miller for Lelko. He got it.
What a catch.
And he's inbound.
Oh, he says no.
The official's first movement was to stop the clock, which would have meant a completion. And then he changed it to an incomplete call.
When you've been together as long as Miller and Lelko have, watch right at the end. See if the 1 foot stays in bounds. He makes the catch. Nope, it's on the chalk. Good job by the official seeing that. Lelko does a great job with the catch and leaving his foot behind, but he just ran out of real estate.
And I don't think he held the ball as well. I think he lost control of it when he hit the turf, and it's third down and 10. It sounds strange to say this with a minute and a half gone in the second half, but this is 4-down territory. Miller in trouble, and he goes down. And they're staring at 4th down and about 15. Jamal Johnson made the stop.
Jamal Johnson, their undersized linebacker, 81 tackles coming into this game, 9 sacks and 20 tackles for loss. 5'11", 183 pounds. And as you pointed out, you're absolutely right, Rich. This is 4-down territory, even though they're at the 35, 4th and 15 or 16.
Delta State has 63 sacks on the season. Wow. This is game 15 for them. And Miller with time got a man, and a catch by Terrell Johnson, who has the first down.
Of course, the strong suit of the quarterback, Miller, is throwing on the run, but here he hangs in the pocket for the deep dig route by Johnson. Here he is at the top of the screen like he's going to the post. Now he cuts underneath the zone. This is a great catch because he gets collided with at the same time, but he's able to hang on. Great job by both Miller and Johnson.
12.5 minutes left in the third quarter, but you get a sense that the game actually is in the balance right now.
Well, one of the things here is that if they can get the ball in the end zone, and then for whatever reason the defense can do something, they can get some momentum back.
This is Glaze to the 12. Marcus Glaze stopped by Andre Brown.
And one thing in the second half, certainly for Bloomsburg, they just absolutely cannot turn the ball over. That fumble was just completely changed the tenor of the game.
5 possessions, 5 legitimate possessions for Delta State, and they scored on all of them in the first half. They did take a knee on their last possession to end the half. Miller rolling and keeping, and the little guy dives. Is he in? No, he's down at the 1. I thought he got in.
He may have hurt himself a little bit with the extension of the ball. Sometimes you, as Clint Eastwood said in Magnum Force, you got to know your limitations. And there, right at the end, the 5'11", 160-pounder. Watch here. You see this happen all the time, trying to get in. Now he extends himself. You're very vulnerable when you're like that. Well, I'm not sure that's not a touchdown. And, ooh, ouch. He goes helmet to helmet. Helmet to helmet with Gary Bell, the linebacker.
So it's 1st and goal, and this time Eric Miller is in. Bloomsburg recovers an onside kick and sticks it in the end zone and draws within 15 here, 35-20.
While the cheers are a little bit muted, here's what happens, and it happened last week in UC Davis. You start to throw the ball around a little bit, your offense gets a little bit stale. The offense thought they were going to come on the field, right, with the opening kickoff. They don't. Now they're on the sidelines. Actually, I think the onus is on the offense for Delta State coming out to see if they're going to be as sharp as they were in the first half.
Eric Miller, the senior, in the end zone. Bloomsburg within 2 scores now.
Sunday NFL Countdown, every week at 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Is it their impeccable timing that counts?
Their know-how? How far they go? Or just the freedom to relax? Yes, exactly. Lufthansa, there's no better way to fly.
Miracles really do happen.
Looks like someone's gonna have a very happy holiday.
Yep.
For every job, there's a hard way. Or there's the Dremel way. The Dremel rotary tool with right angle attachment. Suddenly, nothing seems out of reach. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
Eric Miller and Bloomsburg down by 14 now, 35-21, 11.5 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. Zach Quigley teeing it up, and don't you know Delta State is looking for the onside kick now. A little late.
But it is. I mean, it really is. 35-14, they've got no momentum. Of course they're going to give it a shot. Oh, well.
That's 4 onside kicks they've recovered this year. And Quigley...
Ouch. Now they hand him field position.
Yeah, yanks it out of bounds, and that'll be great field position for an unstoppable offense so far in Delta State.
What this is referred to as a suicide onside, as opposed to the one that goes to the side. They call it suicide because it's all on the kicker. He's the one that has to come and get the ball. It's a great job by the blockers downfield to prevent a Delta State player from coming anywhere close to getting the ball. As a result, as you pointed out, Rich, that was a shot in the arm for Bloomsburg. Now the responsibility falls upon the Husky defense to do something.
And you know, as amazing as the comeback was against UC Davis last week, and the emphasis is on the offense for Bloomsburg, it was the Bloomsburg defense that stopped Davis's offense numerous times in the 4th quarter to help that comeback along.
Again, a reminder, though, that was a high-maintenance throw-the-ball offense. This one is not.
No. The moving parts are well-oiled here. There's the pitch to Franklin. And Franklin is dropped on a great play by Rudy Garcia. Last week at UC Davis, a sellout crowd. The Aggies were favored, and that reverse pitch you just saw worked last week. But it worked for Bloomsburg. And then the throw to Terrell Johnson. And the fans that made the trip from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania had a great time at UC Davis's expense, 58-48. They were down 19 going into the fourth. Darrell Williams with that touchdown run. And it was a big day for Eric Miller and the Bloomsburg offense. 2nd and 12. Bright keeps it, and there he goes again. Josh Bright midfield, and he's in the Bloomsburg territory out at the 39-yard line. Toye Berry made the stop on a 28-yard scamper.
Well, when you're as good a runner as Bright is, when in doubt, you put the ball under your arm and you take off. He does a great job here with his fake to the fullback. You're going to take a look at the Bloomsburg defense is going to jump on top of the fullback. Watch this. Look at all the shirts in there. Now he cuts to the outside. The corner misses his tackle, and he's off to the races. Now Bright well over 100 yards rushing on the day.
Paul Darren, the Bloomsburg coaches, told us yesterday they wanted to make Josh Bright pitch the ball, and they've not been successful in doing that, obviously.
Twice he's pitched the ball on the option. But when your quarterback is, you know, with 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter, is already over 100 yards, 15 carries for 110, you have not done that effectively, needless to say.
And Delta State down to the Bloomsburg 31. 2nd down, a very short 2. This is Bright again. And he's inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
I'm here with Joan and Ken Bright, Josh's parents. And we were talking about how unbelievable it is for at 6'5" for him to be running the option. But Mom says he played baseball, basketball, and that may have really helped him.
I think playing baseball and basketball helped him, and plus he's just a real hard worker.
We've been amazed also, not only is he tall and lanky, but he's so tough. He's out there straight-arming guys and really powering through with the football.
Well, he's dedicated to lifting weights, and he's always worked hard at everything he's done, and most of all, he's just a very good kid, too.
A lot of people say that because in high school he did not play for a team that really threw the ball a lot, he was overlooked for the Division I level, and that he really could have played there if he had developed that arm.
That's a possibility, but I think probably the best thing that ever happened to him was coming to Delta State, and he's enjoyed it, he loves it, and he's having a lot of fun, and that's what he, you know, we're happy for him.
Well, he may be the best thing that happened to Delta State this year. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got his height from Dad.
Yes, he did.
And by going to Delta State, he's playing for a national championship today. Hart is in motion. Bright again. Down to the 2. 1st down and goal to go. Delta State.
Be remiss at this point if we didn't mention Max Weathers, Jamie Everett, Randy Grierson, Chris Booker, Reed Stringer, and of course included in that are the tight ends Justin Ashley and Nick McLean. These are the ones that are paving the way. Very rarely have we seen today contact by a defender on either the back or the quarterback in their backfield. It always seems to be that they're running downhill as Delta State.
People assume that because they're Division II, they're small. They're not. They're about 280 across. And into the end zone is DeForest Hart. Delta State, another long, impressive touchdown drive. Four different runners have touchdowns for Delta State. That's the first for DeForest Hart, the senior out of Vicksburg, Mississippi. And the extra point is good. The Statesmen are a quarter and a half away from a national championship. An impressive display by Delta State.
When you were sad and lonely, you know you want me. Back off, he's the killer.
Before you choose a security company, consider this. Only ADT protects your home and family with 3 solid guarantees, plus a special fire safety offer. It's the ADT Fire Protection Package. If you move, we'll install a system in your new home free of charge. If you're not happy with your system, ADT will refund the installation cost and monitoring fees. We'll even save you up to 20% on your basic homeowner's insurance. Call now and get an ADT security system installed from $99. And for a limited time, we'll also include a free ADT fire extinguisher. This invaluable home safety device is manufactured by Ansel, the fire safety leader. So get the peace of mind of the ADT Fire Protection Package. Get the power of ADT.
42-21. Delta State goes 65 more yards. The loneliest man in this ballpark is Blake Konigsberger, the sophomore out of Columbus, Mississippi.
Let's go.
He's the punter for Delta State.
Remember that old commercial with the Maytag repairman?
Onside kick, and guess what? Delta State recovered. There's a flag down back of the 35, which probably means offsides, Delta State.
Gee, you're up 21 points in the onside kick, huh? Well, that's interesting.
They saw the UC Davis game film, apparently.
I guess so. That. Hey, now, have you been in a game? Think about this year. Have you been in a game that's had 3 onside kicks?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And we're not even in the 4th quarter yet.
Well, let's see if we can find for you who was offside. Here are the white shirts. Now take a look. Who's going to cross the line first?
Offside.
Oh, I'm not so sure. I'm sure this is who they called. But,
oh,
man, I'm not so sure. That looked pretty close. Awfully close. Oh, man.
Well, remember...
Maybe the official had mercy.
Remember,
right.
Delta State got a huge break on 4th and inches when illegal motion was not called in the first half, so maybe the break is evened out here.
Well, you can see Coach Campbell is saying the same thing. You know, how could you call that? It was so close.
The one possession they did not score on was the final possession of the first half.
Kneel down.
And they kneeled down and went in at halftime. And so Billy Dorgan, barefoot and all, will try it again.
Kicking off, you mean.
Yes. Stone. And Brent Stone. Stone is out to midfield, and he's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And Billy Dorgan, barefoot and all, made the stop. Bryant Stone with a nice return.
He's actually had a couple of pretty good returns today, and for whatever reason, Delta State not terribly aggressive downfield. Couple of blocks now, right around here where he should go down with some white shirts. He breaks to the outside, gets away from Belton, now crosses midfield, and as you pointed out, the barefooted one, Dorgan, had to knock him out.
Now Eric Miller in the offense takes over for Bloomsburg. Lelko makes the catch. I don't think we've talked enough about Mike Lelko and what he's accomplished at Bloomsburg. 84 catches coming in, 19 touchdowns. He's added 2 to that total today.
Okay, that's enough. All right. We haven't talked enough about it. 7 catches for 53 yards today. Of course, that would put him over 90 for the season then. Wow, that's pretty impressive. All right, maybe we haven't talked enough.
It's something that you're seeing a lot more of in college football, and I think it kind of started with a Tim Dwight type, a guy that's really, really strong. Wide receivers didn't used to be buffed, but in the last 3 or 4 years, you're seeing the Tim Dwights, the Vinnie Sutherlands, Wayne Crabett, guys that who have good hands and are extremely strong that can get the ball in traffic.
Well, what's happened now is that because pass rushing is such a big issue, and you have your 8 guys in the box frequently, corners are going to press. And one of the difficulties now is they want to see people that can get off the line of scrimmage. They can't have Smurfs anymore that are just quick guys. You got to have some tough guys that can collide. You got to have, certainly Lelko's one of those guys.
You got to have strong Smurfs.
Strong Smurfs. There you go.
Third down and short. Miller gives it to Glaze. And Glaze is inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line. And we go to Holly Rowe. Holly?
Guys, Mike Lelko is the youngest of 3 brothers. His brothers all played football and are pretty tough guys. In the backyard, they weren't content with just having games of catch. What they would do is throw into the garden or throw into the bushes. They had to have tough catch. And in fact, they would not give up until one of the kids was bleeding and Mom made them come in. So he got his toughness from playing with his older brothers.
I should say so. And Lelko with the catch at the 24-yard line.
And now down 3 touchdowns. They don't have to completely abandon the running game, but you can see that they need to expedite the process and get some points on the board. Interesting note here, though, regarding Delta State's defense. You know, coming into this game, they had only been giving up 14 points per game in the playoffs. And so now, that's a tribute to that man right there, Dwayne Matthews, especially in Division II when the games take on kind of a Nintendo feel, at least with the points that are put up.
Movement by the Bloomsburg line. That's a good point, because yesterday in our meetings with the offensive, defensive coordinators and the head coaches, we met with all 3 at the same time. And both Dwayne Matthews and his counterpart on the other side, Paul Dara, the defensive coordinator at Bloomsburg, just sort of listened to the head coach and listened to the offensive coordinator talk about offense and scoring all these points. And they just kind of looked at everybody and said, well, see what we're up against there?
Yeah. They're of the hold-on mode as opposed to stuff people mode.
Yeah. Another catch by Brian Sullivan, the tight end, and a big collision at the 16-yard line, a 13-yard pickup, and a Statesman is down.
John Kohlenberg, the free safety, trying to get the big hit. Instead, he puts the big hit on Tedrick Polk. And Polk only 5'7", 166 pounds. He gets the worst of this.
Sullivan is a huge tight end at 6'5", 250. We'll take a timeout. 6:18 left. Third quarter of the Division II National Championship game. Delta State with the lead. Bloomsburg on the move.
A camp for local kids with special needs wanted help. We were there.
A customer lost her sight. We helped teach her to recognize coins by touch.
We welcome new Bloomsburg University students. We visit customers at nursing homes. We are the employees of First Columbia Bank.
My customers are my friends. It's that simple.
First Columbia's customer service is downright neighborly.
Columbia Mall will put you in the holiday spirit. Each week through Christmas, we're giving away a different gift. And every day, we're giving away 2 scooters. Plus, enter to win a $2,000 dream vacation from Liberty Travel. This week's free gift is a bag of delicious sourdough pretzels. And you can purchase these attractive planters for $2.50 or $3. Visit Mall Services for all the details. And while you're in the mall, shop at our many stores for all your holiday needs. Free gifts, prizes, and great gift ideas from Columbia Mall.
We know that leaders are not born, leaders are made. And you are already a leader if you're here, and you have the potential for being even a better leader.
You have the power to create positive change. You should relish the fact that you can make a positive impact.
We have ability. We are athletes. We are amazing. Why? Because Y stands for you are safe student athletes, and you are world leaders.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Division II Championship is brought to you by Suzuki, engineered to fit your life.
Yeah.
Raleigh Municipal Stadium, 42-21. And you can see Tedrick Polk who was injured. He took a blow to the head, and he may have tweaked his knee as well.
Watch the left knee at the end. Bang, it gets caught. You can see the foot turned a little bit. And, of course, one of the advantages of being a little bit smaller, we pointed out, Polk only listed 166 pounds. Hopefully, he'll be a little bit resilient. His foot didn't stay planted.
So off the timeout, Bloomsburg with the ball on 1st and 10. Eric Miller rolling and throwing incomplete. Terrell Johnson, the sophomore, was the intended receiver. And Miller hasn't missed much today.
And Miller wasn't very happy with himself because he knew he had exactly what he wanted rolled out. Look at how open Johnson is, but he can't get quite enough juice on the ball. Look at this. It's just a little bit short. Johnson tries to come back and get it. 17 for 22 now is Miller. Extremely accurate.
Second down and 10. Lelko somehow broke it up.
It's a great play by Demetrius Patterson, and I say that not just because he batted the ball down, but he comes off his man. At the line of scrimmage, you can see Lelko was patting his head, telling him what he wants to do. Watch number 21. He's going to come off his man and almost make the interception. Actually, it's a great job by Lelko just to get in there and break up what would have been an interception.
Boy, Lelko almost caught that ball.
That would have been some catch if he could have.
Third down and 10. Patterson's had a great season. He's also blocked 3 kicks. Here comes the blitz. Miller's throw. He had to throw it early to Rocco Forgione, and it's incomplete.
You've been waiting all game to say that name, haven't you? Well done. And, of course, as you point out, 4th down. They're certainly going to have to go for it here. 5:53 remaining. He threw the ball before he wanted to. Good pressure on the part. Coming off the corner right in his face. Throws it before the break is made by Forgione, and the result is an incompletion and 4th and long.
Bloomsburg had to go for 4th down in this game. It was a 4th down and 17. And to look at the numbers on 4th down. Miller, Williams, got it, touchdown. Darrell Williams, the sophomore out of Philadelphia, and Danny Hale's bunch just won't go away.
Darrell Williams has been a big play man. 2 big touchdowns against UC Davis last week. We saw his catch earlier on the flanker screen. I'm thinking this is somebody they need to get the ball to. He is their fastest player, after all.
Williams was a kid who did not play last year. He was cut from the team in '99, and he's worked his way not into the rotation, but just on the periphery. And they throw to him once or twice a game. And he had the big week last week, and he's got a touchdown today. And he's one of Danny Hale's feel-good stories this year. Last night, here in Florence, Alabama, home of the Division II Hall of Fame. 3 more inductees, 3 rather large names. John Stallworth of Alabama A&M was the first to go in.
Terrific player for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 4 Super Bowl rings. I thought he should have been the MVP of Super Bowl 14 when he made that unbelievable catch over the shoulder that Bradshaw threw on 3rd and 10. I find it interesting when everybody's always talking about Lynn Swann getting into the Hall of Fame. Stallworth was actually the better player.
How about Harry Carson from South Carolina State? He was inducted as well.
Played against Harry a few times, a terrific inside backer. He went to 9 Pro Bowls for the Giants. He and Lawrence Taylor, I think they were roommates there. They went so often to Honolulu.
And Pierce Holt from Angelo State.
Stud bolt for San Francisco in their front 4. He played in a couple of their Super Bowl teams there in the late 80s. Terrific pass rusher. Matt Millen, my buddy who was a teammate of his, said that he might have been the best defensive lineman San Francisco had that decade, with the exception of Fred Dean.
Well, I tell you what, the Division II Hall of Fame, it has some pretty big names in it.
Really do. Just goes to show that if you have to go to one of those colleges, that doesn't necessarily mean that later on you can't play for pay.
Purifoy for Delta State, and Purifoy is knocked off his feet finally at the 38-yard line. All right, Todd Christensen, to illustrate your point, here you go.
John Randall, the terrific defensive tackle for Minnesota. Darrell Green, Football's fastest man, Jesse Tuggle, a tackling machine for the Atlanta Falcons. Andre Reed, over 900 catches his career with Buffalo. Yancey, big fan, of course, now with the Tennessee Titans. John Mobley, great outside linebacker for the Broncos. Arondé Gadsden, wide receiver for the Dolphins. Brent Jones, of course, and Shannon Sharp, two terrific tight ends, almost as good as me.
All right, you've been waiting all day for that. And I'm bitter that Ken O'Brien's name is omitted from that list. Although he's long since retired.
Something interesting with regards to that, I mentioned kiddingly Shannon Sharp and Brent Jones being almost as good as me. They're pretty close. Anyway, the point being that, did you know that on that Super Bowl team that Denver had won the last one, they had 5 on their team, 5 Division II starters. So again, reiterating the point about this is not lesser football, folks. These people can play at the next level.
Delta State on 2nd down and 8. Second man through DeForest Hart, and Hart is to the 40, Hart to the 30, and he's down to the 28-yard line. Luke Murray made the stop. 32 yards.
It seems like just when Bloomsburg seems like they have done something to get a little momentum defensively, get a loss, or get a short gain as they did on 1st down, the Statesmen are able to come back with a big play. And again, at the point of attack, take a look at the hole that he cuts through. Where is he touched? Right there. The first time he is touched is about 10 yards downfield. Now he stumbles and finally gets tackled, but again, this is the frustration of the Bloomsburg defensive corps, their inability to stop the run of the green and white.
314 yards on the ground, and they've not put it on the ground, which is pretty darn impressive. Rico McDonald, the fullback, is inside the 25-yard line.
And that's part of that's interesting too. They've run the ball so effectively, as you pointed out, well over 300 yards. Rico McDonald, their big rusher coming into this game with over 1,500 yards, has not necessarily had a big game because the others have really stepped up for him. I mean, 55 yards is pretty good, but you know, there have been so many other people that have been effective.
2nd down 7. Josh Bright, the junior quarterback.
Have we said he has a bright future? Have we said that, Chad?
You have said it.
All right.
Let's go on the record.
Now to jump in with that cliche, huh?
The record clearly reflects it as you have said it. It's Bright, and he's inside the 20. He's inside the 5. He's inside the end zone. Josh Bright with his 3rd touchdown of the day. And that's why Holly Rowe had shades on.
Well, it's interesting. Coming into this game, we talk about the Morgan brothers from Air Force. I think the last ones to do the 1,000, which is throw for 1,000 and rush for 1,000. This young man, again, at the point of attack, the offensive line creates a chasm for him. Gets a good downfield block from his runner. And Bright's just having a day of a lifetime. How thrilling to have your best day, a la, say, Steve Young in the Super Bowl, in a game that means so much.
And for these players, this is, you think about it, their football careers, getting to the NFL from the Division I level is tough, from the Division II level even tougher, but to play for a national championship is pretty darn special. Men's college basketball tonight. Someone takes another shot at #1 Duke. And tonight, it's the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan and #1 Duke tonight on ESPN, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Shane Battier leads the way, averaging close to 15 points and 6 rebounds a game. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Michigan and Duke tonight, 9 Eastern.
ACC basketball is something. Boy, oh boy. Those are fun games to watch. Once that season starts, boy, that's going to be great.
A lot of fans have made the trip, about a 4-hour drive. There's your sign.
Did you just make that up after I said? No, probably.
4-hour drive from Cleveland, Mississippi.
Do you know there's also a Philadelphia, Mississippi?
There's a lot of things in Mississippi.
I bet there's a Springfield someplace. Doesn't every state have a Springfield?
Every team should have a Josh Bright. 3 touchdown runs. He runs that option so well. He throws it well. And Todd, be aware of an onside kick here.
I'm going to predict it's not an onside.
Whoa, it's the little pooch kick. They try to drop it in there. Fair catch is made. And let's go down below to Holly Rowe. Holly?
Guys, now I don't want you to be confused if you're seeing 2 different mascots on the sideline. Delta State are the Statesmen, but they didn't like the nickname so much. So the baseball team voted this year that they should be known as the Fighting Okra. Yes, you got it, Fighting Okra. So the fans here, many of them have Beanie Babies, signs, hats. I don't know if Bloomsburg is going to catch on to this trend and become the Bloomsburg beating broccoli, but there you have it, the Fighting Okra.
Wow, I was confused when I first read that. I thought it was the Fighting Oprahs. Out at the 35 and down at the 37-yard line.
Well, then their mascot would be Rosie O'Donnell. Right? No, you know, I got to tell you something. I went to a restaurant last night, and I've got some Fighting Okra inside me, but that's another story, I guess.
We've
ouch.
49-28, 3.5 minutes left in this third quarter. And let's see if Eric Miller can continue to move. You know, Bloomsburg's offense has been pretty darn good in this second half. They have 2 touchdown drives. Miller has a touchdown throw and a run. And the throw is incomplete.
It just goes to show how deceptive numbers can be. You look at Miller's numbers and you would think this has to be the guy who's on the winning team. You know, about 80% completion. You know, he's throwing, you know, as you pointed out, he has 3 touchdown passes, 19 of 26, 213. That's got to be the winning quarterback, right? Not the one that's down by 21 points.
Yeah, well, Bright has run for 157, and he's hurt him in the air as well. Miller's in trouble and knocked off his feet at the 37-yard line. This is going to be 3rd down and 10.
Here's one of the downsides of being the 165 or 157 or 151, whatever his actual weight is. Twice now he has been sacked in situations to where guys just barely got him by the foot. You know that if that's on the other side with Bright at 235 pounds, he's still on his feet. But instead, when you've got that wisp of a young man in Miller, he's a little bit easier to sack when you get your hands on him.
3rd down, 11. Remember, Bloomsburg twice today has converted big, long 4th downs. So they're faced with 3rd down here. Miller's going to throw deep, and there's no one home. Darrell Williams broke off his pattern. Bloomsburg's going to punt the football.
Wow. Would a fake be a little bit too, you know what? As I say, a fake would be a little bit too obvious. I thought an onside kick to start the second half would be a little bit too obvious. So.
Yeah, and remember, this is in these games, the Division II, the Division III, or the 1AA championship games, coaches on either side of the ball have a tendency to let it all hang out, as opposed to sometimes in a D1 situation.
So much for that.
Yeah, end of conversation. Casey Mackey at the 24.
Ouch. Whoa, I can hear that all the way up here.
So could he. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Todd, you and I will be busy. It's Bowl Week on ESPN. Biggest names and the biggest games. 15 games, 8 days, featuring the best talent from all the big conferences. It starts with the Oahu Bowl on Christmas Eve and concludes with a Big Ten SEC showdown on New Year's Day. Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN2.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Okay, I'm there.
Delta State has not been stopped today. The only thing that stopped them was halftime. Rico McDonald to the 28-yard line. Jeremiah Dyer made the stop.
I would have thought that maybe one of the things that could have stopped Delta State would be Bright's fatigue. You know, the collisions that he takes, because normally a quarterback who runs the option as much as he does, option quarterbacks usually get beat up in the course of the game. I guess that's one of the advantages of being 235.
Bright finally pitches one to Rico McDonald. He's out to the 33. Matt Keys made the stop.
Now, the first time in quite a while, here's a 3rd down situation for Bloomsburg. Have an opportunity here to stop him here, 3rd and about, I'm guessing, 2.5 or 3 yards.
And, you know, here's the big opportunity for Blake Konisberger.
That's right.
The Delta State punter.
He's got to be stiff. Those hamstrings got to be tightening up.
He's taken the jacket off. He has yet to see action today. 7 of 8 on 3rd down. And Bright is stopped. cue the punter. Bloomsburg with their first stop of the day, and it comes with a minute left in the third.
And they took some chances there. They had 7 or 8 people there in the box. They decided we're just not going to take any chances, and there's the punter right now. He actually had to come over and huddle. Are you sure we're going to do this?
Yeah. Make sure everything is snapped. Get the chin strap on. Rico McDonald is down right now. Here's a look at the third down play.
Ever so slightly discombobulated. This is good penetration on the part. See, knifing down, he pulls the ball out. He has nowhere to go. That's a great penetration by Bloomsburg, who at this point really had nothing to lose. They got to take a chance there and shoot some gaps, and they're able to drop him for a loss. And now you saw the punter stretching himself out with the kicks and the hurdle stretches and still doing it, in fact. Now, I have a question. All right. Take a look right here on his right elbow. As soon as his name disappears, there you see it right there. Okay. Why does this guy need a wristband? All right. Why does this man need a wristband?
Good question.
Okay. I mean, the sweaties.
Oh, no.
Man.
No.
And look at the punt. Holy cow.
But you know what?
He hit a howitzer. It's not going to matter. It's offsides. And they'll get the ball back.
Maybe they'll decline it.
I don't think so.
Toye Berry to the 15. I don't know. That's quite a punt. And look at Koningsberger. He can't believe he's jumping up and down.
No.
51 yards, his big moment in the national championship game.
It is. He's excited, but it's going to go for naught.
Oh, pick the flags up. Oh, no.
Oh. Now, see, he's still excited. He's high-fiving. Maybe he doesn't realize that despite the fact that he had that satellite of a punt, it's not going to go in the stats.
No, it'll disappear. And look at him. He just found out.
That's right. Someone just came over and said that. He turned it right over, though. That was nice.
I think that's why he needed the...
Offsides. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now, on a less humorous note, especially if you're a Bloomsburg fan, you can't believe that for the first time today, here with 30-odd seconds remaining in the third quarter, you've got a 3-and-out. You can see the response by head coach Danny Hale. Not happy.
Well, the Bloomsburg defense rallying. DeForest Hart ended up in the arms of Greg Roscos, the junior out of Scranton.
Roscos with a terrific year this year. 8 sacks and 17 tackles for loss. As you pointed out at the top, one of the 3 linebackers with over 100 tackles. I don't know if Delta State realizes this, but they don't have to run a play. And so, sure enough, Bright looks back and sees that it's going to run out, and they'll let it go.
Delta State is 1 quarter away from a national championship. And they've got the comeback kids, the Bloomsburg Huskies, on the ropes. 49-28, Delta State on top.
2 plays for a buck. When I was a kid, a handful of nickels would keep the jukebox playing all night long.
Yeah, you know, you can't get much for a buck these days.
Yeah, but you can get all your long-distance calls for just 99 cents.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
He's right. Just dial 10-10-220 and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents and just 7 cents a minute after that. No fees, no signing up. Just dial 10-10-220.
Get yourself out of here.
How do you like me now?
ESPN, the magazine. Well, thank you for calling. Dan, can I put you on hold? Dan Patrick wants a free Polo Fleece pullover.
He writes a column for the magazine. Yeah. But he's not a new subscriber.
Sorry, Dan. No can do on the fleece. It's only for new subscribers. You mean you're actually calling to subscribe?
Okay, sure. Okay.
Everyone wants our warm, roomy Polar Fleece pullover. It has a half-zip front and embroidered ESPN the magazine logo. And best of all, it's free.
ESPN the magazine. It's Rich Eisen. He's called 3 times.
Sorry, Rich. I agree, it's a great-looking fleece, but it's only for new subscribers.
Subscribe now to ESPN the magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold, fast and furious. With in-your-face photos, amazing interviews, and behind-the-scenes coverage of what's happening now and what's happening next. All with ESPN attitude.
Stuart Scott wants the fleece.
Booyah! Call now for ESPN the magazine. Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. That's 66% off the newsstand price. And your fleece pullover is free.
It's Chris Berman. He could go all the way!
Call now for ESPN the magazine and your free fleece pullover. 1-800-491-2233.
I feel stupid.
Don't worry about it. They're going to turn this into cool tricks and stuff.
Higher. Jump higher. What am I here for? Audio. What does this have to do with audio?
Reset.
This wasn't the deal. You guys never said anything about this. At the end of the Bloomsburg bench is senior Mike Lelko. 10 minutes into this ball game, he had 2 touchdown catches in a 14-14 ball game. And it seemed like Bloomsburg was off to a great start. But Delta State from that point has dominated play, 49-28. 1 quarter left in this Division II National Championship game. Rich Waltz, Todd Christensen, Holly Rowe, Florence, Alabama. Josh Bright on 2nd down. A quick throw, and it's dropped. Tanny Flowers was the intended receiver.
Had exactly what they wanted. Great play action. Flowers just a little bit off balance. Take a look. Here comes Flowers to the inside off of Roscoe's wide open. Has to make that catch. Unable to, just a little bit off balance.
And it's 3rd down and 9. Not a lot of 3rd down and longs today for Delta State. Bright going to stand and throw, and it's caught by Jody Jennings, and another 3rd down conversion. Big yardage to the 38-yard line, 22 yards. Josh Bright to Jody Jennings, and here are the numbers through 3.
Well, as you can see, they're completely one-sided, and of course the number that stands out once again right here, you can't give up 353 yards rushing and expect to win. I thought it interesting, though, on that last play. Bright stood right in there in the pocket, delivered that on the money. He looked like a thrower there.
Rico McDonald inside the 30 to the 30 or to the 28. Jeremiah Dyer made the stop, very close to a 1st down.
Of course, we'll never know what might have been had that punt had to actually been punted. You know, down 21 points. It's hard to say, but that would have done an awful lot for Bloomsburg, and frustrating when 4th and short. It's you know, it's axiomatic that you don't jump off sides 4th down in less than 5, but Bloomsburg at that point's fatigued. Obviously, their defense has been on the field more than they wanted to. You saw the time of possession. Huskies have to be some tired people there on that side of the ball.
And not only that, without the huddle, Delta State gets more snaps per drive than most teams. But I don't know if that's a stat, but it can really tire a Bloomsburg team out, especially you get into the 3rd and into the 4th.
Well, what it also does is that the huddle actually gives you a chance to get a break a little bit. And what I mean by a break, I'm not just talking about a physical one, a mental one, where for 15 to 20 seconds you don't get to think about anything. Instead, now you have to pay attention. You look over to the sidelines. You're trying to be intense. You don't get that break. And, of course, that wears on you as you head into the last stanza.
On 2nd down, Bright to the air again, caught by Jason Franklin, and he's down to the 12-yard line. Luke Murray on the coverage.
I'm surprised at this point, too, that we haven't seen a little bit more of Jeff Smith. Of course, maybe the feeling is the game is not yet in hand. That number 12, as a senior, you would think would probably get an opportunity here to get a few more plays here in the championship game, but hard to knock, obviously, what Bright has done today, both on the ground and in the air.
This is Bright on the ground. And the umpire made a nice stop there as he slid out of the way. Brian Sims was in on the stop.
Good job by the Bloomsburg front four to force him to the outside as opposed to going just between the tackles.
Steve Campbell, in just his second year with Delta State, he won a national championship as a player in this stadium for Troy State some 13 years ago. Rico McDonald. And McDonald is down to the 2. Very close to the first down.
You know, I mentioned the fact that McDonald had not been a key member up to this point at really making a lot of contribution. These last couple of plays he has. He must have heard me. He's tough. Great dimensions for a runner now.
And McDonald is only a junior. Bright is only a junior. This is a team that, you look at Steve Campbell's ball club, he's only got 2 seniors on the front offensive line. They're going to be good next year as well. 49-28, timeout on the field. 12.5 minutes left in this Division II national championship game.
I love the way you always treat me tenderly, but darling, most of all, I love how you love me.
It's special holiday shopping days at Pep Boys. Get $15 or $30 in merchandise certificates free with purchase. 3 days only, December 13th, 14th, and 15th. 627 locations nationwide. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Back 9 ain't showing Roger a whole lot of love. Better call in the dog. If your ball is hanging in the rough and holding out seems mighty tough. Shh. He's got the balls and sticks and shoes to erase those triple bogey blues. BogDog.com. Ho, 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 from the athlete's toy store. Bog Dog. That dog's got mustard on his onions.
Is there an insurance company that believes the most important thing they cover is the risk you didn't think of? Without question, the St. Paul.
3rd and 1 from the 2. Delta State on their way in. Flags down, loose ball. Chris Booker was lined up in the backfield again in that power I, and he moved early, as well as 4 or 5 other statesmen.
Well, don't forget, remember, he moved early on the 4th and 1, which
Dead ball
seemed
foul.
to be a little bit,
Ball start.
I thought
Offense.
at the time controversial.
5-yard
Now obviously
penalty.
not so much.
Still 3rd down.
Coach Campbell's got to think that maybe that refrigerator Perry thing isn't the way to go. They'll have to go with the normal set.
The jumbo set.
That's it. That's right.
So it's 3rd down and 6.
2 years ago, there was the first time that was, the Rams had it. They had Deacon Dan Towler. They called it the elephant backfield back in the early 50s. You remember that?
I was not here.
Tank Younger.
I was not here in the early 50s. I didn't.
No, I'm just, I just thought maybe you'd read that, come across it. I guess not.
No. 3rd down. The elephant backfield.
Yeah.
And not an animal. Around the left side, into the end zone, touchdown. Tanny Flowers.
You know, Flowers has had a really good game, and I'm not just saying that because he had a touchdown. He's made a couple of nice catches early in the game. Great blocks downfield. Very versatile young man. Here's the misdirection. Everybody going one way. Flowers cuts to the outside. Now all he has to do is beat the one man, and Barry just isn't quick enough to get him. Flowers with his 2nd touchdown. Not a bad average per carry. 6 carries for 59 yards.
Extra point. Good. It is Delta State's day in the sun. 56-28. They lead Bloomsburg.
A camp for local kids with special needs wanted help. We were there.
A customer lost her sight. We helped teach her to recognize coins by touch.
We welcome new Bloomsburg University students. We visit customers at nursing homes. We are the employees of First Columbia Bank.
My customers are my friends. It's that simple.
First Columbia's customer service is downright neighborly.
In Demand's gonna rock your world.
Yabba dabba do! Wacka wacka wee!
Wow, you got a really great laugh.
Prehistoric to pre-hysteric. The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. Rock on with In Demand. You roll.
Flyer firepower takes aim at the Avs, but Sakic and company plan to show John LeClaire and Philly the real Rocky Mountain way. Every game has a story. Flyers Avalanche, Wednesday at 8 on ESPN.
It's the most wonderful week of the year. With those 50-yard kickings and risky flea flickings, the crowd starts to cheer.
Bowl Week begins December 24th on ESPN and ESPN2.
56-28. Todd, I assume that we're no longer on the onside kick watch.
You know what? My projections are wrong too. Remember, I said it'd be tied at 56 in the fourth quarter. Instead, I was half right.
And they kick it away. Solomon Nelson. And Solomon is out to the 42-yard line. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Guys, Division II has a playoff, the thing that many people in Division I are crying for. What they do is they have 4 different teams in 4 regions that are selected to the playoffs. That's 16 teams overall. So just for fun, we decided to project what would happen if Division I did that this year. Here are the regions we chose, the West and Midwest. Based on people's record throughout the year and who beat whom in conference action, we put that Washington and Oklahoma would go through in these regions. Now, in the other regions,
Terrell Johnson, and off a big block, Johnson down to the 42-yard line. Back to Holly.
Guys, in the other regions, in the South and, in the East and Southeast regions, Virginia Tech, although these 2 teams did not meet, we put them through over Purdue, and Miami, as we all know, beat Florida State. That would put Virginia Tech and Miami meeting. Based on regular season, Miami goes through, Oklahoma goes through, and there is your national championship. Just food for thought.
So wait a minute, who decided who went through?
Who wins? What's up with that? Come on.
Who decided who's going to beat who in that situation?
You know what? Even though we debate that, I like that idea. I like it a lot. That's a great job, Holly. Give us food for thought, and certainly I would guess that the majority of fans out there would like to see that very thing. Let's see it done on the field.
Sure. And it's the, this time of year when we do these championship games, we always seem to have these discussions about the playoffs and how it works in 1AA, it works in Division II, it works in Division III, and yet in Division I with the bowl structure and the money and all that.
No, you forget all of that. You said it the first time, the money. Money, 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 money.
Mike Lelko makes the catch at the 26-yard line.
I think, you know what, and I think it's time simply because of this. I thought it interesting that after the game was over, Kansas State and Oklahoma, right away, I think was it Jack DeRoot? I'm trying to think who it was, had asked the question of Bob Stoops, what do you think about Florida State? And what did he respond? It's a month away. Well, a month away, come on, let's play some football in the interim. Why not get some playoffs?
Absolutely. And that's something that is not talked about in the bowl situation, and we see bowl games, and a lot of times it's hard to project what happens in these bowl games because these teams take 5 weeks off. And people don't know, these teams don't practice for 5 weeks. They take a couple weeks off, then they come back in, they practice for 2 weeks and go to the game.
Yeah, they're not game ready, certainly not. And as a result, some of the big bowl games, people end up laying eggs, and they're not as much fun to watch. I just think it'd be terrific through December. And, of course, the attention that they could get, the money that would be made, more and more people would be interested in college football. Absolutely.
Eric Miller to the 25-yard line. Well, you know, the BCS is it's an evolving thing, it seems like. Each year they're going to go in and tweak it a little bit. Maybe the godfather of the BCS was Roy Kramer, who's the commissioner of the SEC, who won a Division II national championship as a coach. Back in 1974, Roy Kramer. Flags and whistles. Would you do your playoff at the bowl sites?
Yes. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And that way you can get the best of both worlds. With all due respect, I think that we have a few too many bowls right now. I really do. And that's not that I don't want people to make money and I don't want people to have opportunities.
And it's still the most wonderful week of the year, right?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's terrific.
All right.
But having said that, I do think that if it were condensed a little bit, not unlike, say, Major League Baseball, that could lose a few teams or, you know, some other major sports, the point is here is that you want to get the best of it. You want to be most competitive, most interest, and that's exactly what would happen.
Third down as Eric Miller and the Bloomsburg Huskies continue to move the ball. Miller's throw tipped and then eventually dropped. It may have been tipped twice. Let's go to Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Rich, Appalachian State and Montana. This is the 1AA semifinals. Montana with a 13-3 lead until Joe Burchett goes to work. A lot of air under the ball, drops it in there perfectly to Troy Albee, and App State within 3 about halfway through the 4th.
The winner gets Georgia Southern next week.
And that, what a surprisingly low-scoring game. 13-10 in the 4th. That's amazing.
Looks like the snow is melting in Missoula. 4th down, Miller going deep and got his man, Darrell Williams.
Wow.
Touchdown. There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, that's a shame. A shift. Ah, that's too bad. I was going to say, this Miller kid has converted more 4th down and longs than I've seen in a very long time. That was a terrific throw on the post.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Well, as we talk about Williams as their speed guy, Miller drives back, puts it right on his arms. Take a look at this throw. Right there. Terrific throw, nice route, but unfortunately an illegal shift.
4th down and 19. Got to go deep into the playbook for this one. On the run, Miller throws. Receiver was tripped. No flags. And the officials are saying the ball was uncatchable. Danny Hale's not happy on the Bloomsburg sideline.
Well, I think the contact was incidental, but part of the problem is how do you gauge when the guy has fallen down and the ball comes by about a 1.5 seconds later as to whether or not that's a very subjective call by the official. But I think Miller has very little to be ashamed of the way he's played today.
And getting to this national championship game, obviously quite an accomplishment for Bloomsburg, but once they've arrived, it's been Delta State's day. Jeff Smith is in at quarterback now. And he'll hand it to Rico McDonald. The flag's down at the 35-yard line.
I was just, isn't this ironic? I was just about to say that there have been very many flags in this game. And, you know, you and I have both, you know, throughout the year, we've done predominantly Division I games. I've had games where we've had like 25, 30 penalties. And today there hadn't been too many until these last couple.
Well, that's one of the things about a playoff in this
Holding.
sense.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
You talk about the 5-week layoff. These teams start their playoffs right away, and bing, bang, boom. It's 3 weeks of playoffs, and here they are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously one team is much more dominant, but it hasn't been a matter of mistakes. It's simply that Delta State has been better. Hasn't been fluke plays or turnovers or.
Would you keep some of your? I'm going to go back to the Todd Christensen. The TCS, so to speak.
The TCS, I like it.
Would you keep some of the minor bowls for the Toledos of the world? I mean, say there are some teams that deserve to go to a bowl game, but not a playoff. Say you're the 17th, 18th best team. Do you still go play somewhere?
Oh, sure, because I think that you can generate enough interest from those two schools to do that. The problem that I see now is that in the BCS, when you have that one major game, then all the other games are almost seemingly inconsequential, meaning that, well, let's just wait till that championship game. And I think that you would see in the case, at least some people that I've talked with and been around, that the feeling is that it's taken away a little bit from those other games.
Smith's going to put it up, and he does, and it is intercepted. Jeremiah Dyer with the interception. He's down at the 45-yard line. 8.5 minutes left. It's still 56-28, but for Bloomsburg, they finally get their first stop of the day.
Well, he gets a big assist from Trent Flick, who really is the one with the interception. Can't quite hold on to it at the last minute. Look at that last little bit of a tip. Gets it up in the air, enabling Dyer to come up with the interception. And I'm with you. You know, 8.5 minutes remaining, and you're up by 4 touchdowns. Why aren't you running the ball? But again, as we pointed out earlier, Smith's a senior. They want to give him an opportunity to air it out a little bit, give him a turn.
And Miller's right back at the helm for Bloomsburg. Crossing pattern. There's Lelko again. Makes the catch at the 35. Stays on his feet. And he battles his way to the 28-yard line. 15 yards. 10th catch of the day for Lelko.
If I'm not mistaken, though, isn't that, I'm pretty sure that that's the first turnover, isn't it, for Delta State? And, of course, obviously, in a situation where it certainly wasn't costly when you're up by 28 points, as we see Lelko with additional yardage and yet another catch to add to his stats.
First turnover, first stop, because remember that last, the one possession they didn't score on before that one is in and out of the hands of Forgione. And it's incomplete. Was that kneel down at the end of the first half. That's why Delta State is sitting on a 56-28 lead over Bloomsburg. Bloomsburg felt yesterday, Danny Hale told us, Delta State has to put it on the ground a couple of times for us to win this game.
That's right. He had admitted as much, and obviously that hasn't happened. They have an interesting statistic. 28 fumbles. They've only lost 7 of them.
Ooh. Incomplete. It bounced on the ground. Darrell Williams was sandwiched between Statesman.
He was indeed. He took a shot.
And it's 3rd down and 10. There's Gawain Matthews.
What's that first name? Where'd that come from? Knight of the Round Table, right?
Well, there was an old LSU football star.
Right.
His mom and dad were LSU fans. And that star's first name was Gawain.
Yeah. There it is. G-E-A-U Tigers. Remember that bumper sticker? Go Tigers.
All right, here comes Miller. Lelko couldn't make the catch. Demetrius Patterson with the coverage.
Patterson does a nice job here. Lelko needs to come back to the ball just a little bit. Watch number 8 at the top of your screen and watch Patterson. Now he plants. Now he needs to come back. Don't fade on it, because look what Patterson does. Instead, he sits and waits on the ball. Patterson is able to knife in front of him and bat it down. Nonetheless, you can see that Lelko with 10 catches on the day, although that average per catch is not scintillating.
Eric Miller now faced with another 4th down. He has the time. And he throws into traffic. It's batted down. Terrell Johnson, had he held it, would have had a first down.
Rory Bell, the defensive back, who's usually known for his tackling, instead is able to cut in front and bat the ball away from Johnson.
Let's go down below. Holly Rowe. Holly?
Guys, I'm standing by with Ron Lelko, Mike's older brother. Ironically, you held many of the records at Bloomsburg that your brother broke this year. Have you guys had a fun rivalry throughout the years?
You know, I think we have, and we talk about it all the time. You know, I've set a standard for him, not only him, but the other receivers at Bloomsburg University. And, you know, he did it to me in high school, and he did it to me in college again. But, you know, it's so great to see him, you know, out and, you know, on the field breaking my records. It's nice. It's a great accomplishment for him.
He hasn't had the day probably they wanted. This has been a very tough Delta State team. But I love the story you told me about how you guys tease him because he's so slow.
Well, you know, he's not the fastest. And, you know, when he was here, you know, I was faster than he was. But he's so quick. So back in '97 when we played against East Stroudsburg, he caught this one pass and got caught from behind from a D lineman, so we always tell him he's got a fridge on his back.
That's just unacceptable in the Lelko family to get caught not only from behind, but a defensive lineman, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, yes, it definitely is unacceptable, and, you know, we let him know about it.
I think the other special thing about your family, 3 brothers, all athletically involved, but you've all chosen a very special profession, teaching special education children, and Mike is also majoring in that.
Yes, you know, my older brother and myself are at North Hunter in high school, and Michael Sean, who's going to be graduating in the spring, is going to be special education. It's just such a great field to work with individuals that don't come from the same background that I've come from, with 2 parents, and they don't have the environment. So it's kind of nice to help them out and to see them progress through school, and, you know, and give them a little extra.
Well, thanks very much. We appreciate Mike and you giving us a little extra today as college football fans.
Thanks.
Rich?
The Lelko legacy at Bloomsburg. And on 1st and 10 with Josh Bright. Now Jeff Smith in the game. Delta State kind of rotating quarterbacks on this drive, and that's DeForest Hart, who is inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line. 29 yards on the carry. Toye Berry made the stop.
Straight ahead, guard pulls, creates a gap. Roscoe's can't make the tackle there at the line of scrimmage. Great determination, moving his feet downfield, and as you pointed out, Delta State's not losing much here. They've got people coming back, skill people in the interior. Certainly they would be the favorite to repeat.
You know, their punter, Blake Koenigsberg, is coming back, too. Koenigsberger will be back, so maybe...
Well rested.
Yeah, maybe next year he'll get a chance to punt in a championship game. There's DeForest Hart, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Jeremiah Dyer. There he is. Did we ever find out why he's...
Yeah, what's the deal with the wristband? Did we ever get that?
Let's go down below to Holly Rowe. Holly, what's up with the wristband?
Well, guys, as your crack reporter that I am, I did talk to him, and he said, as only a true Southern gentleman could, it's because it looks good.
So there's a case of style over substance, eh?
Well, as Fernando used to say, sometimes it's better to look good than punt good.
Was that Valenzuela?
No.
Oh, Lamas.
Lamas, baby.
You look marvelous.
You know who you are. Down to the 18-yard line, 56-28. It's a big day for Delta State.
Over 440 yards rushing in this game. Those are Nebraska-like numbers.
Josh Bright is a junior out of Batesville, Mississippi. He'll be back. 4 players are over 50. Bright is one of those. 175 for Bright. And Delta State is going to win. Feel confident now in saying this. Going to win their first national championship, and Gary Smith with icing on the cake into the end zone, over 60. Delta State.
Well, this is a fatigue touchdown, Rich. I mean, Bloomsburg is dead tired. They've spent so much time on the field. The blocking at the point of attack was just tremendous. You see one of the young men over there. How many fingers? Well, there's just the one. And that's all the fingers that Delta State needs today, because certainly they've proven at the Division II level that they are number 1.
The extra point being delayed right now. There's an injury along the sideline. A Delta State player is down.
While we have a chance to mention it, Delta State has rushed for 457 yards. That is a championship game record. And that's saying a lot, because as you pointed out a little while ago, these games notoriously are offensive slugfests. To put together 457 yards rushing in a championship game. It speaks volumes not only about the running backs, but as I've said ad nauseum throughout this contest, the offensive line for Delta State, which has been so very dominant.
Danny Flowers on his way out. Now, this offense, Todd, I've not seen anything like it in Division I in a long time. How come you see such diverse offenses at this level where you get a combination of triple option and run and shoot and West Coast and all of that?
Well, with the there's a combination of factors. Certainly with the limitation in scholarships, each one of these teams, and when you talk with the coaches, always act like they have a chip on their shoulder. And so what they have to do is, we're not good enough to line up and smash mouth you. We have to deceive you. We have to be clever enough to do something that you are not prepared for. And certainly this flex bone or whatever the name they want to give it, very difficult to defend.
Kick up good. Gary Smith with the latest Delta State score. Delta State, you can call them national champs in about 5 minutes.
Saving money is very important, especially with all the gift giving we do.
My shopping list gets pretty big, close to about 70 people. With the prices at Walmart, I don't have to spend a lot of money to give a good gift.
You can get things for your family, for your neighbors, for your friends.
When buying for that many people, I definitely have to stick within a certain budget, and Walmart helps ease that craziness around the holiday time.
Walmart is the first stop, and it is the last stop.
I don't have to spend a lot of money to still be able to get a lot of gifts.
It's just a great place to shop.
Par, par, birdie, par, eagle. Whoa, par, par. Must be a Golf Magazine subscriber. How would you like to shave 3, 4, or 5 strokes off your game? Add 20 yards to your tee shots. Start one-putting greens. Chip like a pro. Blast your way out of the bunker. Shoot lower scores and play the best golf of your life. Now you can by calling for your free trial issue of Golf Magazine. Issue after issue, Golf Magazine gives you proven tips to improve your short game, develop better touch, fix your slice, straighten your hook, drop more putts, drive longer, and more, all to have you saying par, par, birdie. When you call now for your free trial issue, you'll get the Golf Magazine gear bag with a roomy shoe compartment as your free gift. Call now for your free trial issue of Golf Magazine. If you like it, get 11 more issues, 12 in all for just $15.94. Plus, get the Golf Magazine gear bag free with your paid subscription. Call the toll-free number on your screen now.
63-28, Josh Bright and Delta State, national champions officially in 5.5 minutes.
We mentioned the 457 rushing yards that were now a new standard in this game. Also, the 63 points is a new standard, as are 34 first downs.
Solomon Melson to the 33-yard line. Holly Rowe, what's up?
Guys, Billy Dorgan has been a great kicker for Delta State, but kicking barefoot poses some hazards many of us don't think about. His right foot is permanently stained the color of the grass. Got some chipped toes. It's looking pretty awful. And he said, I hope you sure don't get this on camera. I told him I couldn't promise that, but he says that Monday he's got a pedicure scheduled and he'll be back to normal.
Now, if he's got the pedicure scheduled, don't they have nail polish remover? Won't they get that stain off? It worked for me. I mean, it worked for a friend of mine.
Chris Thompson is now the quarterback of Bloomsburg. I don't know if that's in the athletic budget at Delta State.
Okay.
Out to the 41-yard
and the pedicure is? What?
I was talking about the pedicure.
Oh, okay.
Aristine Henry. The carry. There's a look at Chris Thompson, the junior out of Manheim, Pennsylvania.
How many times is your place kicker your backup quarterback? Not often. I mean, holder maybe, but not place kicker.
Eric Miller, who has had just a wonderful ride in his career. To the 47-yard line.
Henry coming into this game had 8 touchdowns and about 900 yards rushing, so it wasn't all glaze. You see Bright, what a happy man he is.
Good job, baby.
And there are the standards that we had pointed out earlier.
All Division II championship game records.
Bright today, 22 carries, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 for 11 for 80 yards throwing the ball.
Thompson on first down will give it to Aristine Henry. And Henry is upended, so to speak, at the 27-yard line by Rory Bell.
That was a nice tackle. But of course, Henry's saying to himself, yeah, big deal. Didn't I just gain about 30 yards? Here at the end of the play, excuse me, only 19. There he is. Classic tackle. Gets him by the thighs and drops him.
On 1st and 10 now for Bloomsburg. Henry again. Henry to the 10, and he's down to the 6-yard line. Pat Walker made this stop. This game was supposed to be played by North Dakota State and UC Davis. They were the heavy favorites going into the semifinals last week. Davis was upset by Bloomsburg. And North Dakota State, a team that has won many Division II championships. The Bison beaten by Delta State.
That was a game where the Delta State defense really rose to the occasion. Held them to 14 points. And that doesn't happen too often in these games where somebody gets held for that.
This is Henry, and he picks his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Bloomsburg. Aristine Henry, his first score of the day.
So I get ahead of the game here, so I can give you my Gene Dixon or Kreskin prediction. I'm going to say onside kick. I'm going to tell you right now, the 4th onside kick of the game is coming up.
You're going out on a limb.
Way out. Way out, buddy.
Will it be the suicide onside kick or more along the...
I think conventional.
Across the field. Now, what is conventional these days?
Well, conventional now is you have 2 guys on one side, which I don't understand. I guess it's in case somebody catches it and runs the other direction. And the other 8 people on the one side.
And Thompson, the quarterback, this could be returned for 2 points.
No.
Thank you. Stopped at the 30. Jared Beckett made the block. Brian Jones had the recovery. And he's wiped out at the 30-yard line. Well, we'll see if Todd is on his game when we get back. 63-34, Delta State.
Elton John invites you to One Night Only. One Night Only, the definitive collection of Elton John classics, the greatest hits recorded live. To order by credit card, call 1-888-741-2700. Order now and you'll receive a free music video of I Guess That's Why They Call It the Blues.
Is your asthma really under control?
Yes, but I still get short of breath.
And you wake up at night wheezing and coughing.
I just use my fast-acting inhaler.
But you use it almost every day.
Is that what you call control? Ask your doctor if Flovent is right for you. Prescription Flovent twice a day helps control the inflammation that can cause everyday asthma symptoms. Even helps improve lung function. Flovent won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden attacks. People switching from an oral steroid like prednisone to Flovent, an inhaled steroid, need to be especially careful. While adjusting to the switch, your body is not as able to heal after surgery, infection, or serious injury. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve. So, is your asthma really under control? Call 1-800-2-FLOVENT today for a $5 rebate and a free asthma workbook so you and your doctor can determine if your asthma is really under control. That's 1-800-2-FLOVENT.
Now this is asthma control.
63-34. The Bloomsburg sideline has been this way ever since the second quarter.
Aristine Henry, though, what a terrific drive he had. 5 carries for 67 yards. He's now the leading runner for Bloomsburg. 9 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown.
All right, Todd.
Oh, no.
They're not lining up in the
look like it.
Conventional onside.
I was wrong.
Well, you'll have to settle for 3 onside kicks in a game. And down goes the runner.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of interesting, Tuesday on ESPN2. So pay attention, you may learn something here. John LeClaire and the Flyers are in Nashville to take on the Predators, and it's another installment of NHL Rules. Darren Pang, Bill Clement. You can learn more about the coolest game on earth. It's 7:30 Eastern, NHL Rules.
And now Marshall's going to come right in front and time it.
Even Todd Christensen can learn something about hockey by watching NHL Rules. Tuesday night.
I'm all over it, eh?
Very good.
Me and a couple of hosers, we'll be checking it out. I learned so much, though, you know, when I'm paired up with Steve Levy. He fills me in. He explained to me that the 20-yard line is akin to the blue line, and that's really helped me.
Well, the Bloomsburg needs a two-line pass here is what they're looking for. Down to the 12. NFL Films presents Lost Treasures. That's coming up. Maybe Todd Christensen will appear again on your TV screen. Though I don't know if many people would categorize him as a treasure.
Lost.
Lost would be appropriate.
Yeah, lost is apt.
Whew. All right. 3 minutes left in this ball game. Delta State will run this thing out. And the Statesmen taking every second of the play clock down. And they'll hand it off. This is Trayvon Dixon. And Dixon is across midfield. He stops and goes down at the 44-yard line. Everyone taking shots now. Let's go to Reese Davis.
All right, Rich, down to cases in Missoula, Appalachian State and Montana. It's a 13-10 game until Mark Wright from 17 yards out ties it up. And as someone who often sits in this chair says, we're going to overtime.
Hockey term. Very good. So Montana and Appalachian State. The winner gets Georgia Southern in the 1AA game. St. John's and Mount Union are through. They'll play in the D3 championship next week. Josh Hatcher is now the quarterback. And he'll hand it off to Jamie Washington.
With that carry, they go over 500 yards rushing for the game. And take a look at the end of the play here. This is cool. Number 20 is App. That's kind of a Barry Sanders thing here, the play before.
Well, he was told don't go out of bounds.
Yeah, that's right. But, I mean, how can you do that when you're going full speed like that? Boy, Dixon, that was impressive.
And he's not even on the depth chart.
Hey, I got to tell you something from a personal standpoint. Speaking of that, do you miss Barry Sanders? I think he retired a little soon, don't you? None of my business. Just wanted to know if, for whatever reason, with 131, 130 remaining here, if he's watching this Division II game. We miss you, Barry.
Well, that's enough. I mean, if I'm Barry Sanders and I hear that, I'm
coming back.
I'm back, baby. Count me in.
That's right. If he's
Purifoy with the run.
How about this, Barry? If you're listening, I'll come back if you don't. All right. Talk about got your lost treasures, huh?
Now there's a player down for Bloomsburg. A 63-34 ball game. Delta State putting the finishing touches on a national championship. It's a national championship that has kind of been owned by the South. The North and the West really have not had and the East, or the East and the West haven't had a whole lot of success.
Well, there's the perfunctory, is it Gatorade? Shower? What do we got here? All right. Shower of some sort. The celebration is all on the side of the green and white, up 63-34.
My internet service crashes so often, I had to buy a helmet.
AT&T WorldNet service has fewer disconnects.
Hey, here's an impression for you. That's me waiting to log on to my internet service.
The fastest logon time and the highest speed connection.
My online service has amazing security. Even I can't get in.
AT&T WorldNet service has fewer busy signals.
My online service is down so often, I had it treated for clinical depression.
#1 in customer satisfaction, J.D. Power and Associates.
Hello.
Call now, 1-800-WorldNet, and switch to AT&T WorldNet service.
My online service left me so poor, I got married just for the rice.
It's only $4.95 a month, including 6 email addresses, navigation toolbar, online support, chat, and instant messaging.
Take my internet service, please.
AT&T WorldNet service, only $4.95 a month. Call now.
Jim Lanigan was the injured player for Bloomsburg, and happy to report that he's up and off to the sideline on his own power. The Fighting Okra, or the Statesmen as they're usually known.
Call them whatever you want, but you got to call them champs. Yet another record. 641 yards in total offense. The Delta State Statesmen.
And straight ahead. And Steve Campbell, the head coach, a little wet and a little cold.
But he's certainly thankful they did it near the end of the game as opposed to, say, 2 series before. Then he'd be freezing.
Yep, the weather here started at 55. And
they tried to get him again. He was able to sidestep most of that.
Hatcher will take one final snap of this championship game. And Mario Purifoy does it for Delta State. And this thing is over. Steve Campbell on his way to the other side to greet Danny Hale. Todd Christensen, this was an incredible performance by Delta State.
It really was. That they really rose up. And you mentioned Campbell, the fact that he's only been here, it is his second year. He has to be very excited with this team. And you mentioned it was a young team, completely dominant today. Over 640 yards total offense, over 500 yards rushing. They did it all today. 63 yards a record, unbelievable.
Delta State with a national championship. 63-34, they beat Bloomsburg. Coming up, NFL Films, Lost Treasures. For Todd Christensen, Holly Rowe, I'm Rich Waltz. 63-34 is the final. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide